Sandra all the time is here with a cold heart true. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama, call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra.
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth-telling, more problem-solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you. All right, folks. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. We have a number of things that we are going to cover today. I don't know where Blake and Aaron are. Let me just check my messages. I don't see them yet for the day. Let's see. Okay. Let me see here. All right. 106. What y'all got going on over there? Let me check in. Oh, there they are. Oh, hello. Okay. We're going to get this bus on the road this morning. Good morning, everyone.
It's FM Blake and Aaron Show, brought to you by Subway, eating fresh. Back at it on a Monday morning. Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Blake and Aaron. How are you guys doing?
Good. How was your taste of Cayman?
I was going to ask you, why did I not see you there?
We were there. We were there. At least I was there both nights.
It was packed.
I didn't see
That's
you.
why.
Yeah. Were you at Black Eyed Peas?
No, Marlon went, but I heard people were looking for me.
Wait, you let him out by himself? That's unusual.
No.
Black Eyed Peas were awesome.
It was
I
fun.
mean, they literally played all the hits back to back, nonstop for an hour and a half. The show was on time. I loved that.
Yeah.
They started literally right on time.
Yeah,
So-
I heard it was awesome.
It was a great show. And then for Saturday, we went to the food festival right at 5:00, right when the gates
Yeah.
opened.
Oh, nice.
Because then you
there
just
about 5:45.
And when you have
Yeah.
because you had miles. When
Yeah.
you have a young
Yeah,
kid, like you want to
gotta
get
go
in.
early.
Yeah,
you beat all the crowds. You get all the food you want right away.
exactly.
And
then
then you don't miss the fun stuff, which is what the kids love, like the kids play center,
Yeah.
as well as the cultural section was pretty awesome as well.
And the cake.
Plus, I'm
Yeah,
not
we
gonna,
were
I'm not
there.
gonna lie. I was pretty tired from Friday night on Saturday.
I'm sorry.
was-
Again, I need a good concert to start at 7:00 in the
I
evening.
know. Well, you think about it. We got up, in the 5:00 hour on
Yeah.
Friday morning, worked all day.
Mm-hmm.
Parented a little bit after work.
Yeah, and then went out, and then we're up till 1:00. That
Mhm.
was a pretty long day. And then I didn't sleep well Friday night, and then Miles got up at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning, and that was it. So I only had a few hours.
Kid.
Ugh,
Yeah.
Kids, they get up so
Kids.
super early.
kids, man.
And he
I
was
know, on weekends, it's like they have a different clock. They've got a clock that says, let's wake up extra early on a weekend.
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
But what a great weekend, and congrats to CETA and everybody involved,
Yeah.
Tower in Taste of Cayman. It was a great event. Glad to
Yeah.
be a part of it.
And they
So,
only closed it out yesterday with a brunch. Like it was
Yeah.
a 3-day.
I was there. It was
Did
very
you go to
good.
the brunch?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
by the way, I heard the
Okay.
Black Eyed Peas went out afterwards and closed down the lodge. They were there till 4 a.m.
Ah,
singing karaoke.
Wow.
Can you imagine being
Right?
at a bar and seeing the Black Eyed
They're
Peas
older than I am, and they're out partying harder.
singing karaoke?
Yeah,
Though?
that's funny. That'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Did they get to pick their own songs?
I don't know. Did they sing their own songs?
That's funny.
That's kind of weird.
That's funny.
That's good. That's good stuff.
All right, let's get some news right now. Officially,
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
Cayman's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
all right, Sandy, what do you got for us?
So good morning to everyone. All right. So we've got a couple of things making headlines this morning. The CPA denied an application for a 10-story Aqua Bay development. This
Okay.
is interesting, but basically Aqua Bay condominiums in 7 Mile Beach, they want to throw up a 10-story residential building. And the response from the Central Planning Authority is no. Yeah, the news is welcomed by the 45 objectors who wrote letters to the CPA stating their disagreement with the proposed development. The proposed $60 million development comprises a single 10-story apartment building with 38 units, including a fitness center, pool, and below-ground parking. The roof of the building was to feature a rooftop deck with barbecue areas and infinity pools with spas. Wow.
Why does everybody else get to do it though?
Portion of the roof had been set aside for photovoltaic panels and solar hot water collectors. So the site originally consisted of a single residential property and was redeveloped as the Aqua Bay condominiums in the 1980s. And the existing property features a total of 21 units. So the CPA said that it refused planning permission because the building would be 12 stories and not 10, as the developers indicated, because a garage and a roof deck would also increase the maximum height allowed. So they might go
Wow.
back and rewrite that proposal. and-
I mean, they might want to look at some of the other new
Yeah.
buildings along 7 Mile that use parking garages.
but
as-
you see, the
as
thing is, it has
floors?
to be included in the 10 story.
I don't know. How about that?
We'll see.
Nah.
All right, a man denies attempting to bribe jurors in the SIFA case. So, former president of the now defunct FC International, Mr. Alan Kennedy Ebanks, has denied contacting a juror during the Canova Watson and Bruce Blake trial trying to influence a not guilty verdict. Wow.
That's not good.
I know. When he appeared in court on Friday, Ebanks pleaded not guilty to attempting to pervert the course of justice. His trial is set for July the 2nd, 2024.
This is that whole SIFA thing and all the things that's been going on with it is just it's so sad and unfortunate. Like, that's my sport, soccer, football.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love. And I watched the documentary on FIFA, and we were featured in it, and Cayman as well, obviously. And it's sad, the corruption that's taken over this wonderful sport.
Yeah. Yep. Cayman Brac, according to the Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, has become a cruise ship, will become a cruise ship destination as soon as 2026. This is what he told journalists at the Sea Trade Cruise Global Conference in Miami Beach last week.
How?
The announcement came, months after Bryan called for a referendum on building a cruise port pier in Grand Cayman. The minister said, this is what he told Caribbean Journal, that the plan is to make Cayman Brac a boutique small ship destination that maintains the island's relaxed identity and fulfills a priority of quality, not quantity.
Yeah, if you could do a small ships, I can see how that would be.
What small ships
lovely.
are out there, though? Like, honestly.
Well, there's some, but it's not that many for sure.
How about that giant sailboat? Doesn't that go over there?
I haven't seen that one in a while.
I mean, let's be honest. These cruise ships that are coming to Grand Cayman, if you were to send them to Cayman Brac, they're not the small ships at all. They're huge.
No, and they're trying to get rid of those smaller ones so they can get more people on.
Crowded out, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, not my thing.
All right, if you're planning to travel to Brazil, and you are a U.S. traveler, you should know that you're going to now need a visa to visit beginning in 2025.
Why's that?
It includes travelers from the USA, Canada, Australia, and other nationalities, so you better check it out. I don't know. Apparently, they are saying that you have to include a proof of income and all sorts of.
I thought we used to have to. I thought we always had to have a
Proof of
visa to go to Brazil, because we turned around and said, "You guys need a visa to come to us," and so they said, "Fine, then you need to have a visa to come to us."
What a hot mess.
Yeah.
Yes. So the cost is going to be $80.90. And they say that it'll be valid for 10 years and across multiple entries, with stays limited to 90 days per year.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Not on my list of vacations.
Not on your bucket list.
I'd like to see it one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least just the spots that everybody wants.
More so maybe Argentina and like Patagonia, really. But
I've been to Chile. That's nice. Peru.
Yeah. Ooh, I'd like to do Machu Picchu.
All right. So I think I'm gonna leave you there because the next story is absolutely depressing. So
what today is for speaking of US folks, it is
tax day.
Tax day?
Okay.
I'm a tax man.
Tax man.
I don't want to get you in trouble here. Tax man.
I've already
tax man. Oh my god.
June.
I know you have expats. Yeah, we have until June. I did it in like January. I was like, let's just get this out of the way.
Tax is due today if you're a U.S. citizen, but not if you're living abroad. We have until June. So just FYI.
I hate it is to do that.
Yeah. All right, Sandy. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good one, guys.
You too.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Buenos dias, everybody. Well, go on. Good morning to everyone. I hear there's a fender bender by Barcam in the middle lane, so traffic is backed up, and the ladies won't move their cars, says this person. OMG. What a hot mess. Yes, sir. I think why they probably won't move it is because they feel like if they move it, the police are not going to see who's at fault. Get yourselves a dash cam. How many times Auntie got to tell y'all that good bit of advice? Dash cam. We need to write a song about that. Mr. Berman Scott, can you write a song about the dash cam? Oh my gosh, the accidents are epic. What was that one yesterday in East End? The car flipped over. What did they hit exactly? Did they hit a light pole? Did they hit a bump in the road? Like I wasn't really sure what they hit, but yeah, no bueno. Good morning. RGPB says good evening in the Philippines. Good evening, sir. How are ma'am? I don't actually know. How are you? So good to see you this morning. Everybody's here. The usual suspects, Marshall, Miss Ann, Damien. So I'm going to send out the links. Give me one quick second here. Get the links for everybody in WhatsApp. Oh, my apologies. I think I just sent out a story twice to the WhatsApp group. So let me get the show links. We got quite a bit of stuff that we want to talk about this morning. So everywhere I went over the weekend, obviously, you guys were talking about Friday's show. My apologies. And, amazingly, so many of you were thanking me for Friday's show. Oh my goodness, that's the phone. Just got knocked over. A lot of you were thanking me for Friday's show, saying, Sandy, thank you. We need to start holding your MPs accountable to a different level. And so many people said that they were looking forward to 2025, which is right around the corner, believe it or not. Election time will soon be here. And we all need to get mentally prepared for election time. And so, ultimately, we aim to make you as knowledgeable and as educated about the candidates as possible. Now, according to anti-sources, we have a whole bag of people that are going to be coming out. In fact, there are several people that are putting quote unquote teams together. Y'all know how these so-called teams work. They're loosely joined together by the common goal of trying to get voted in as a block, so that they can say, hey, if we get voted in as a block, maybe this is who the MP, the premier and stuff will be. But you all know by now, whoa, why are we so close up with this camera today? Give me 1 second. Let me zoom out. Woo-hoo. What's going on here, honey chill? There we go. Yes. But you guys know by now how this works. So unfortunately, there's really little to no guarantee of who's going to get in. That's not the kind of party system we have, because these people are a bunch of jokers, if truth be known. Once they get in, because you don't know who's going to get in, of course. And, say I run a party with somebody in every district. If I don't get enough for the majority, then it's totally up for grabs. And in fact, it's possible, I suppose, theoretically speaking, that someone could get enough for the majority and still the majority changes their mind because they're being, courted by other people. So we got to understand how the process works. And that means that honestly, you never know who you're going to get in terms of leadership. I mean, the country, I think, has spoken very, very loudly about the current leadership not really being what we wanted. And it seems like, in fact, we're back to a progressive-led government, which is, that's not really what we wanted, folks. But here we are. What a hot mess. So we'll see. I'm hearing a lot about people who are running. Lots of people in Georgetown and West Bay, those two seem to be extremely active. For the people who claim that they want to, take on some of the incumbents. The interesting thing about it is some people who have expressed an interest in running are no better than what's there now. And I'm sorry, but that's not the litmus test. We can't recycle and just bring in someone just because they're new and they're just as bad as what's there now. What is the point of that? Because they're new and green and open to all sorts of things, right? So I think that people need to come good. And so we need to go through our list of exactly what it is that we're looking for in our elected officials and know from now what it is you want. Because then, you can't make that mistake. I'm going to try to read you guys something. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if it's I'm not sure if I have a copy of it still. Audiobook. I'm looking to see if it's available in the e-store. Doesn't look like it's a 1999 book. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm aging myself now when I talk about some of these things. So it's not available in ebook format. But there's a book. I'm going to tell y'all something. It was a #1 bestseller back in the day. And it was written by PhD Cherry Carter Scott. And it was entitled, or you can still get it online actually. So they have it in hardcover, audiobook. So the name of this one is If Life is a Game. Her bestseller is If Life is a Game, These Are the Rules. And then she wrote a follow-up book called If Love is a Game, These Are the Rules, where basically she sets out 10 simple rules to find true love and create long-lasting, authentic relationships. Now, one of the things that she says, and this is the part that is really, really important, is basically you have to go into any situation knowing what it is that you want. Because unfortunately, if you don't know what you want, you pretty much fall for anything. And this is a general principle, love, life, whatever. This is really just one of those general principles to live by. I definitely had a copy of it. I don't know if I still do. I feel like I should still have a copy of it. So what the book essentially says is that if you don't know, right? Like you go into a relationship or you meet someone and you haven't really thought about what it is you're looking for in an individual, then anything that pops up on the radar, you're like, okay, let me try it. When in fact, you're just wasting your time. And you shouldn't be trying it. I know we've all been there. We've all done that. So someone who's wholly incompatible with you, you think, oh, okay. You know, they message you, they WhatsApp you these days. Hey, honey, ciao. You want to go out? And you're like, I ain't got nothing better to do on a Saturday night. And you have to stop yourself. So the premise of it is that you go into your life, so to speak, your love life. That's the premise of this book. But now we're talking about our political lives. We're going to apply the exact same rules. You go into it with the recognition that you have to know what you want, right? And I remember when I read the book, she laid out one of the first things she said, know what you want and literally sit down and make your list. What is it that you want? Do you want someone who is family oriented, who wants to start a family? Do you want someone who travels? Are there any economic requirements? Is a religious component to that person very, very important to you because you're a faith-based person? Do you care if they're Methodist, Baptist, atheist, Jewish, whatever? You've got to know what you want, because the premise is, again, if you go into it not knowing what you want, you'll waste a lot of your time with all the wrong people. And so it sounds very deliberate, and it sounds very much like, oh my gosh, where's the love in all of this? But the love, trust me, you can fall in love with pretty much anybody if you want to know the truth, almost anybody. The love is something that will grow and come, because we're attracted to all different sorts of people. But if you're attracted to the wrong sorts of people and you think that you're in love with the wrong sorts of people, you're going to end up in a whole pile of situations and wasted relationships, right? I mean, how many of us, just raise your hands, have been there? Like, we've wasted years of our lives on people who were just the wrong people entirely. And now you look back and you think, what on earth was I thinking? Like, there's no way that person is what I really wanted. But you see, it was easy to fool yourself and for other people to fool you because you didn't know what you wanted. And part of knowing what you wanted is you need to have a list of, you need to categorize the things that you want. So for example, some things are negotiable, right? I would like somebody who enjoys traveling so that I want to be able to travel. Other people, that might not be a negotiable. Other people are like, my life journey, I'm here to travel the 7 seas kind of thing. And so I definitely need someone who's able to travel, which means they need to maybe have flexibility in their job. They need to have the financial means to travel. So, you sit down, you think about all of these elements of what it is that you want. your must-haves, your negotiables, and also what you do not want, because there has to be a corresponding category of the things that you absolutely under no circumstances want. So think about this for a second. If we apply that same principle to our MPs, what is it that you want in an MP, right? What category? First category, the things that you would like your wish list, the things that you can compromise on. So is it important to you that your MP is, I don't know, married with children, or does that not matter to you? Do they have to be a Christian, or does that not matter to you? And then on the other end, the things that you don't want in an MP, like the dishonesty, someone who's exhibited dishonest traits, someone who is, you might say for you, someone who's not educated at any level and hasn't prioritized that, not even a technical skill, you don't want as an MP. Someone who has bad business practices, a history of bad business practices, you'd put them in the category of, I don't want that. So this is what we're going to do collectively as a people here on this program. We're going to break it down. We're getting closer, basically a year out from the general election, and we need to decide, what do we want when it comes to the leadership of this country? So the overarching message on Friday is, do we want people who exhibit dishonesty in their personal relationships? And there's strong evidence that that transcends all aspects of their lives, right? Listen, let's be very clear. A person's either honest or they're not. And you know how the score goes. You think you can be honest with just one area of your life and then compartmentalize everything else? Hardly think so. So we're going to make our list, and I want you guys to start thinking, because we're going to do this as a team here on CMR. I want you guys to start thinking exactly what that means for you and what it is you're going to be looking for. So we'll get there. I received so many super interesting messages. I mean, people who talked about compromising situations that they have found some MPs in over the years. Y'all would absolutely be shocked. You wouldn't, yeah, I don't even think, honestly, you'd believe me if I told you. I'm going to read one of them, though. Because, again, is this what we want for elected officials? Like, when we find out things about them, is it like, wow, this is okay with us? Caymanians, if we don't demand any better, and if we don't know what we want, once the campaigning starts and all of the meetings and they give you the little blowhorns and all the excitement starts. I know Caymanians love to go out to these political meetings. There's something to be said for the experience even of going to political meetings. You get you get emotive, you get caught up in the circus of it all. And then you forget quite literally why you're there and what you're supposed to be doing. So the narrative has got to change. So let me see if I can share this one. Unfortunately, I've got to blur out some of this for sure. Because, honey, chill. Some of this stuff is not even PG. All right, hold on. Like I said, you got to know what you want. So let's see. Make sure there's no names in here. Yeah, I want to talk about suing people. Okay, that looks pretty good. All righty, honey child. Give me 1 minute now. Give me 1 minute. Morning, everybody. Everybody in class is good? Y'all behaving? So this is what someone sent me. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Honey chilling. Okay, WhatsApp is moving a little bit slow. There we go. A little bit of a delay. Save as. And this is still the month of April. Okay. So this is what someone sent Auntie on Saturday night. Because, the whole discussion Friday got you guys to thinking about all sorts of things when it comes to your representatives. So Miss Ann says that same thing about knowing what you want applies to career choices too. So this person, and so very true, Miss Ann, you're absolutely right. This person says, so-and-so, somebody, an elected official, never struck me as anyone who was deserving of how far they've gotten politically in the political arena. Flashback to Hurricane Ivan, curfew nights, found on the beach, bushes across from SMB, caught in the act of giving you read it for yourselves, to a white man in a car who supposedly exchanged cocaine for you read it? Our squad car shunned lights on, search was conducted, and as far as I remember, so-and-so was arrested for possession of coke and breaking curfew. If police maintain those records, should still be available. I'm proud of the way you stand up and stand your ground. Keep going. Is this what we want in elected officials? That they're caught in compromising positions like this on the beach, trading sexual favors for a little bit of blow. Wow. I mean, not exactly my idea of a good MP for sure. And assume that once they're in, that could be your leader of government business. That could be your premier. That could be your deputy premier. Imagine. What a hot mess. Unbelievable. Geez, some peace. Lucky Body says an MP that isn't corrupted by money or is in it for the money. So thank you, Lucky. Keep that he says that's number one. Keep that on your list, because what I would say to you is, as we start to delve into these things, the other question that we need to ask ourselves is, how are we going to know? So when you say, okay, that's a criteria, how are you going to actually know if this person's like that or not? So we need to try to figure it out. It requires a little bit of detective work. And the truth be known, the only way that we will know is probably looking at their previous life, right? I mean, I hate to say it, but when you have people who have no job, no qualifications, and they're vying for political office, or they have a business that's failing and in debt, one should understand that person is probably in it for the money. They're not in it to try to make our lives any better. They're not in it for altruistic reasons. In fact, I was having a conversation with someone over the weekend, and they were saying, a certain MP's wife was on the verge of leaving him because he was unemployed and had no job, and he was going on and on about this politics thing. And she was like, this is a pipe dream. You better go out there and find yourself a real job and contribute to the household income. And they went talking to other people about it and crying, and, my wife is going to leave me because we don't have any money. And so, it's kind of like one of those things where this person was very, very desperate to get into political office. Now, does that mean that they couldn't commit to the people of this country? Not necessarily, but their desperation for this to be a paycheck can't be the primary thing that drives them. And so when it is, I think you need to be careful, right? So, you gotta be careful. So we'll be looking at some of those things because it's important. Where is this person in their professional life? Where are they? I see some of you guys making a joke saying blow for blow. Yeah. Y'all can't behave. Ross C says it's been like that since the 60s. Well, just because something's always been some way doesn't mean that we can't, demand any better. It's not good enough to say this is how it's always been, and so we just carry on. What a hot mess. So Galiano says, what are you doing looking for coke anyway? Well, we have people, including MPs, who are dabbling in drugs. Even now I hear rumors of people. Rumors. I don't have anything concrete on that, but I wouldn't doubt it. Again, a person's history does say a lot about them sometimes. And I believe in second chances, but I also know that people can probably only really realistically change so much. Look at Auntie filing her nails, honey child, as she's telling you the cold hard truth. I got a little piece there that was aggravating me. It was a little bit too jagged edge. So, yes, honey child. What can I tell y'all except it's a hot mess and then some. Anywho, we'll Ingrid says, behave yourself, Leanna. We'll be telling y'all the cold hard truth. That's all I can tell you. And who don't like it probably shouldn't get involved in politics. So that is what it is. Okay, Flashpoint says, if your wife is going to leave you over money, let her go. She wasn't worth it in the first place. Well, what I would say, Flashpoint, I think we touched on this last week, generally speaking about compatibility with people and so forth. Finances is the number one thing in a relationship, whether you want to believe it or not. Let's be real here. If you can't pay the bills, you can't contribute to paying the bills, you're going to have a problem, especially when you have a family, you've got kids, you've got mortgages and so forth. And, some of these MPs were literally in bankruptcy before they became MPs. And that's probably another good sign of what motivated them to get involved in politics to begin with. So I don't know that we can just make a blanket statement like that, Flashpoint. I think that when you look at the pressures that financial stress brings to a household, and if you have one person carrying all the load, is that really fair to them? I mean, I don't think it is. I think the other person has to find some sort of a way to bring home money and to contribute. And if they're actually spending household money as well, like they're out there like, oh, I want to run for politics, and they're wasting money in campaign and trying to buy votes and everything else. You could see how the spouse might be like, listen, you need to get it together in terms of go find yourself a job. So it's not just about money. It's about, why hasn't this person gone out there and be responsible? And most of us expect the men in the family to be the one who's going to be the breadwinner. And I'm not saying that I believe that either, but he's got to be able to pay something. I mean, earn his keep, honey child. No woman wants a freeloading man who cannot contribute to the family household. This is what it is. So if you haven't changed your politics for half a decade, something is really wrong. You mean our politicians? A lot of them have been in there now. What is the average length of time? We'll have to go back and do the math, but at one point it was like 15 to 20 years or something is the average time that someone is in political office. And, unfortunately, they're not doing anything different. They're not bettering themselves. I'm really surprised at when MPs get into political office, how few of them even take that opportunity to advance themselves. Think about it. They have an opportunity now. Money is no object. They can take courses. They can study. Miss Pat says, candidates should at least have an introduction to political science. Check UCCI. They must understand all that's involved. Even when someone is elected to political office, they don't even, decide to go and study for themselves. Not even, maybe it's not a formal degree, but God, they could even pick up a book and read, but they don't care about any of that. And again, it just demonstrates how much they value we the people. So I don't know, honey child. Aliano says a good woman makes a man save money and a bad one makes a man spend money, but a good couple build together. Rough Seas says, how can you say that when 90% of women are freeloaders? Wow, Rough Seas, you sound like you got an issue with women, honey child. That divorce has made you bitter, 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 bitter. 90% of women are freeloaders. And that statistic you got from where exactly? First of all, that's impossible because 90% of the households are single mothers. So who exactly are they freeloading off of? Oh my God, Rough Seas. not with the misinformation. Oh my God. You're up in your feelings, Rough Seas. It's all right. I don't know who broke your little heart, what divorce that was. Rough Seas also says, I want a whole fresh panel of politicians because this is the only way Cayman is going to have any change. If we keep any of them, it will all stay the same. Well, I mean, on the one hand, you do need balance. So I'm not going to say you throw out the baby with the bathwater. I fully understand that you need a little bit of both. One of the criticisms of this past government, and pretty much it's the same people that are there now, is too many of them are green. So they didn't have the experience, the leadership experience. I'm talking about not experience in politics, because some of them are already in their second terms and stuff like that. So it's not about the politics in Cayman. It's about like leadership experience, business experience, nothing. Like they don't have any experience in anything. Because again, the foundation upon which we have built up these candidates have been any Tom, Dick, and Harry. You can be, completely homeless and no credentials, nothing, and you can run for politics in Cayman and actually get elected. And so with that type of lack of criteria in place, unfortunately, and people who don't care to improve their skill set, like why aren't we asking our leaders questions like, what is your leadership style? Like we want to do an interview with our MPs. Tell us about your leadership style. Because apparently leadership style is actually very, very important. You guys saw it. John got up saying that the previous premier was autocratic, which I don't even think John knows what that means. But anyway, so when you talk about autocratic leadership, what exactly is that? What is the authoritarian leadership? What are some of the pros and cons of that leadership style? So ask these MPs questions like this. What's your leadership style? And not just say, what's your leadership style? Of course, they're going to all say something that sounds good. Give us an example of where you've utilized that leadership style in your life to solve a problem. So we need to put them through the biggest interview ringer in the world. Ms. Ann says, I want an MP who has a proven track record in governance. He or she must be able to quantify it. And so you don't want to just ask descriptive questions like, oh, what's your leadership style? Because everybody can prepare for that kind of interview. Put them to the test and say, really, well, show us an example. Give us a real world example of where your leadership style has made a difference in an organization. And all of a sudden, you're going to hear, oh, crickets, right? Because some of these guys can't even get along with people. Like their biggest issue is they do not have the ability to be a team player. Ultimately, that is what made the previous government falter. Everybody was vying for the top leadership positions. Nobody wanted to be, I'm just going to be a worker bee. I shouldn't say nobody because quite frankly, the one person that just had her head down, I know for a fact, and wasn't concerned with a lot of these types of issues would have been someone like, ironically, both women, but Minister of Health, Sabrina Turner, the Honorable Sabrina Turner, and Parliamentary Secretary Heather Bodden. Heather's not, her personality type is very different. I think even her motivations for getting into politics is very different. She's more of a community worker. She's not interested in taking on all of these positions of like, I have to be premier, I have to be deputy premier. Whereas other people have made it painstakingly clear that that is their overall agenda, is to be premier of this country. And if you notice their movements, because behaviors speak a lot, you will see that they move very, very differently in those types of situations, right? So they need all attention on them. It's like, oh yeah, I want to be deputy premier or premier. So if they're acting for 5 minutes, all of a sudden the whole world needs to know that. Why? People act in the positions all the time. Why do we have to know if you're doing it? That speaks to the mindset of individuals. You got to pay attention because actions speak louder than words, but you have to know how to interpret the actions of people to be able to get anywhere. All right. So Stephanie says, what's the criteria to run for parliament? $1,000 and that's it. Well, you have to be Caymanian. You have to meet those types of criteria, but there's nothing else. Like I said, anybody can literally jump up and be like, yeah, they just want to do it. And it doesn't really matter. So, and they have that choice, to be very, very clear. That's their prerogative. But what we have to do is we need to start saying, no, you do not meet the bar. Now, it's so funny for me that we want all of these things supposedly, but then, like I said, somebody comes around, all that glitters is not gold, but somebody comes around shiny like my little Greek inspired nail file. Look, all the little glitter on it, shiny. And you're like, oh my God, you're blinded by the shininess. And then you get distracted about, does it actually work or not? How effective is it? Oh, but this person they're young and they sound good. Okay, let's take a moment and really talk about the things that they're saying. Because a lot of people can sound good on the face of it. And this is why I'm a probative person, as you guys have seen. Nobody not gonna fool me with sound bites. That's why Chris Saunders not getting to know me. Soundbite Saunders. He throws out these sound bites. Oh, they sound good. But what the heck do they mean? Especially someone who's in finance. Like if you don't understand the world of finance and somebody throws out a soundbite, you're like, oh, well, that sounds good. No, what does it mean? Give me some examples of how you're going to apply that financial principle to be able to help the people of the Cayman Islands. Right? That's why they don't want to be coming on my show, because they can't take the hard, cold truth questions. And then you say, okay, that is your suggestion. Also give me an example of where that model has worked somewhere else. Because we shouldn't be in the business of reinventing the wheel. The world is too old. Politics is too old, right? You better believe if somebody comes up with an idea in the world of politics, it's not original or new. And so if that's the case, let's talk about who else has implemented that and it has actually worked. There's a track record of success. Because if it hasn't worked for anybody else, why are we going to do it? We have $1 billion government economy now, $1 billion budget, $1 billion expenditures and budget here in this country. And what are we getting for it? What we're getting for it are students who can't even read and write at the elementary level. Shame on us. Truly, shame on us. Absolutely ridiculous. Really and truly, we got to do better, y'all. 936-2626. Please don't forget that the phone lines are open. So we're going to go into the next election with some serious discussions and some serious talk, quite frankly. And, at the end of the day, I don't feel any way if MPs come along and they can't, or want to be MPs and they can't answer some of these serious questions, then, we got a problem. A serious one at that. Thank you, everyone who's in the comment section. Let me just go back and read some of your comments. Everton says, as far as I'm concerned, money is the most important thing in a relationship. Without money, you cannot take care of your bills or your responsibility. How are you going to take care of your family if you don't have finance? Or for some of us who thought that our all keep saying that money is not important in a relationship, it is, as far as I'm concerned. That's why a lot of marriages and relationships end up in either divorce or breakup because of finance. You have to be able to take care of, and then and then he wrote another long message. That's why, okay, same message basically. So I agree with Everton. I think it's extremely important. Is it the number one thing? But I don't know if it's the number one thing that's going to make it work, but I can tell you it is, in fact, the number one reason for relationships breaking up. I think it's finances, and then let's have a look. Most common reasons for breaking up. So we've got let's see. Do we have any? This is not the list that I'm looking for. So married couples are at a 35% divorce risk if they argue about finances once per week. 35% is pretty high. So money matters a lot. There's no, unless you're independently wealthy. And you know what is so interesting? There is there's a Facebook page I follow called Money Hoarders, I think is what it's called. Is that what it's called? Money Hoarders or something. But anyway, it's a lady who gives, no, that's not it. I forget what her name is now. But anyway, she gives, it might just be Hoarders or something, but she gives financial advice. So it's like a column, and she, people ask her questions. And one of the questions that is always being asked is, again, talking about the inequity of, because you see, it's not just about the money. A lot of times it's about the power that comes in with the money. So even if you get with someone, like you don't have any money, but you get with someone who they have a lot of money, there's always a penny hoarder. Check out her Facebook page. She's got some really good money advice. I must tell you, the interesting thing about this page, though, is for some reason, it's blocked if you're outside of the US, which is kind of weird when you go to her website. So you might have to be on a VPN to read the website articles, but the Facebook page is there. I've just sent you guys a link. Money tips to weather any financial storm, the penny hoarder. And so she has a website called thepennyhoarder.com. And so she asks questions and stuff all the time. People ask questions of her. And a lot of the rules that come up is like, I'm in a relationship with a guy who's a freeloader. Like here's this one 3 hours ago. Dear Penny, my husband refuses to pay for the cost of raising our kid. You thought somebody would have had this conversation, right? So my husband makes twice as much as me, but he refuses to pay for anything for our child, not school supplies, clothes, classes, or gifts. I'm always broke as a result. What should I do? So it's not always about, this person isn't carrying some degree of a load. Obviously the wife is, but now the wife is like, why is my husband, who makes twice as much as I do, refusing to contribute to childcare? And here's what somebody said: divorce him and get the child support. Like, who doesn't take care of their child? First of all, I mean, that's pretty wild. Did he even want the child? Like, this brings up a lot of questions that I have. One person said, why do y'all have separate accounts? And there's a lot of people who maintain separate banking accounts, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But so money comes up with everything, because you can't live in this world for free. It takes money to survive, whether you have children or you don't have children. You've got household bills, So yes, finances in a relationship are extremely important. And it's a factor that motivates a lot of people to do a lot of different things. Good morning, Miss Hilda. Blackberry says, exactly. Some form of qualification or higher education must be required. We should demand more of those who say that they want to lead us, right? So we will be talking about leadership, because why on earth are we out there voting for people who are, like you said, who is leading us? I don't want some of these people leading me. I don't even have any respect for them. They're like leading a donkey horde, and I'm not part of that. You know what I'm saying? How can you respect the leadership of this country if the leadership of this country is out there acting so incredibly juvenile and they bring absolutely nothing to the table? How does that work? Because in my mind, that just doesn't work. Faded Mary Jean says, but Sandra, who say you don't have sense, man? Ciao. Okay. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Aunt Sandra. Good morning, everybody.
Morning,
like I said, loyalty starts from home first before you can lead a country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if you can't do both, then
what do you think about really sitting down and thinking about the criteria that we want for our elected officials?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be you gotta be highly educated in maths and English, finance. One on top of that, I mean, Cayman is a money laundering place. We all know.
Well, we don't want that reputation, and we have cleaned up our reputation quite a bit. So we could say that we've had a history of that, but that's not what finance is about. Finance isn't really about money laundering. It's about knowing how to budget. So you know where finances comes in, that's really, really important. Take, for example, this decision by the Honorable Julianne O'Connor Connolly to spend $50 million out of her budget on a black school that is for some less than 200 children. Tell me how that makes sense. How does it make sense that we're spending $200 million per annum on education, and yet our children are failing with a 76% failure rate? That's not a good return on your investment.
It's lower than that now. Can they just passing these children through without them even saying, but okay, you need to stay back or anything, extra education, something? You're just passing these children through. And when they pass, they ain't got nothing to do, they ain't got no job or anything.
It's sad, right?
Yep. So you guys have a good day.
Thank you, darling. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All righty. Alejandro says, who is the right candidate for politics in your opinion, Sandra? I'm curious to help create a perfect society. So the first thing I would want to say to that question, Alejandro, is number one, you've got to manage your expectations. There's no such thing as perfection. I'm not looking for perfection. And so that's not what this is about. We'll never have a perfect society, and we'll never have perfect candidates. I'll go through some of the criteria. And then here's the thing. One of the reasons why I mentioned that book about, if love is a game, these are the rules, is it removes you looking at a candidate, right? So when someone comes to you in the dating arena, in the political arena, you're looking at that person. When you have your list of criteria, it makes it much easier for you, right? So it's not about who's the right candidate. It's about, does this person who has expressed an interest in running for political office meet my criteria? So it's not about who's the perfect husband or the perfect wife or the perfect girlfriend or the right girlfriend or whatever. You meet someone, the first thing you do, honey child, is whip out your list of criteria. And you say, right, this is what I'm looking for. These are my negotiables. So if this is like adding icing on the cake, and these are what I don't want. And you apply the individual to that. So it's not about trying to go out there and finding the right candidate. It's when a person presents themselves to you, you whip out your list and you say, right, what am I looking for again? Let me remind myself. Because the human brain has a way of making you forget trauma. It is really and truly, it's all about survival. How many of you have experienced a traumatic situation and you completely black it out? You completely forget about it. It happens with abuse a lot. People will tell you, even childhood abuse. I didn't remember as a young kid that I was being molested until I'm well into my adulthood, because your brain tries to protect you from traumatic situations. And you will black it out completely. You will, whatever it takes to soften it, your brain will try to do that. It's one of the reasons sometimes people end up divorcing and marrying the same person again. You're like, why did you divorce that person to begin with? That's because your brain made you forget how bad that person was in the relationship. Here you come for round two. People who make up and break up all the time, people like that get on my nerves, because I'm like, there's a reason why you broke up with this person. But you see, they come and sweet talk you again. They start courting you. Oh, let's do dinner. Let's do this. And all of a sudden you forget until the next time. So you know what? When they come knocking, take out your list, honey child, and be like, hold on a second here now. Because my brain has made me forget what a really horrible person you are. And here you are for round 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you have to break up with someone that many times, I'm going to give you a bit of advice. They're not for you. Just get rid of them. Let go. Stop compromising yourself and let go of that person. Same thing with these politicians. We keep voting them in, and they really not doing nothing. Come election time, we vote them right back in. Why? Well, one of the reasons why is, the truth be told, we don't have a lot of good alternatives. Folks, if I was to go through the last list of candidates in the 2021 general election, and we looked at some of the people who ran, my God, a lot of them needed to just sit down. Let's look at it by constituency for a second here. All right, honey chill. We had Bodden Town East. Well, we only had two there. So John and Ozzy. We had Bodden Town West, Chris Saunders and Vincent Frederick. Now, nothing against Vincent, but he not ready in no way, shape, or form. Not even close. So it was easy for Chris Saunders to get 79.61% of the vote when you have someone like Fredericks running against him. And let me be very, very honest. My understanding is that Vincent was paid by the progressives to run against him because they did not want to say, well, we don't even have anyone that is running in this particular constituency, and things were really that bad. So their position was something is better than nothing. Well, I'm going to challenge you all to say we need to find, give me one instance here, Instagram folks. Every hour on the hour, the Instagram feed ends. But yeah, you know, we need to have better candidates step forward. So if you are interested in making a change, a betterment of your country, you have got to step forward. As simple as that. Okay? So Vincent, nah. Cayman Brack East, Juliano Connor Connolly, Elvis McKeever. Now, a lot of you were hopeful that Elvis would have been the antithesis of Juliana, and he was definitely the opposite of her in a lot of different ways. But, you know, let's just be honest. A conservative environment like Cayman Brack, I don't care how much pot y'all want to be smoking, no one is going to elect someone who that's all they're doing. I like Elvis. Elvis and I have sat down and we've had a good, you know, but what would Elvis be contributing to Parliament other than saying he wants to legalize marijuana? What else? You know, I like his frankness. I like his honesty, but that's not really, again, when you look at the list, when I think about what my list would compose of, that isn't everything. Here's the thing. You elect someone, they've got to be making decisions on your behalf. Budgeting decisions. They need to be able to go away and represent this country. It's only 19 elected members, right? How many of them do a decent job when they go away and represent Cayman? They're embarrassing us on our home soil, much less. Huh? How can that be? And you want to send them to England to sit down at the table and negotiate things on our behalf? I don't think so. Something wrong. And let's also be honest that Cayman Brack is a very, Cayman Brack is a very conservative place, even more conservative than the Big Sister Island. All right, then we had Cayman Brack West and Little Cayman. That was Moses Kirkernel and Maxine. Now, Miss Maxine has ran, I think, quite a number of times. She got 14.17% of the vote. So the truth of the matter is Miss Maxine never needs to run again. If y'all want to take out someone like a Moses Kirkernel, who's a businessman and on the Brack, you know, at least he's accomplished something, even if it was handed down from his family, y'all need to start to elevate and bring someone who can be a real challenge. East End, we had Isaac, Arden McLean, McClary Frederick. Again, Mr. Frederick only got 2.25% of the vote with 15 votes. Again, he should not have even ran. It should have, this race should have been a head-to-head between Arden and Isaac, and that would have been it. And you'd be surprised because of those 15 votes, let's say, I don't know who we would give them to, but even if we had split them down the middle, this would have been a much closer race. Because the truth of the matter is Isaac won with 52.17% of the votes. You eliminate the third person, I don't know why they were there. You might have had a very different result in truth, right? Georgetown Central, Kenneth Bryan and Frank Cornwall. Again, Frank got 12.9% of the vote. Sorry to say, but Frank was no competition for Kenneth. And again, this is the progressives. as an organization, they are lackluster. There's certain things that they kind of do right, but knowing that they didn't have any viable candidates, they had 4 years to find someone to run against Kenneth, right? They obviously knew they weren't going to be working with Kenneth. He's a former PPM. Alden can't stand him. The two of them fighting like, I don't even know what. And the best you could come up with was Frank Cornwall, just because he was your personal assistant. You see, this is where the party system doesn't really make any sense. That's it. Frank is it. Of all the people that are PPM members, that's the best you could get for Georgetown Central. Come on, PPM. Y'all could have done way better than that. And I mean, Frank not no better. He out here having babies with girls that are old enough to be his grandchildren, or young enough, I should say, to be his grandchildren, smoking pot with them and all kind of stuff and getting them pregnant, and then not wanting to even support the child. This is who PPM is going to put out there. Georgetown East, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people running. That was 3 people too many. The other thing that y'all have got to stop doing is stop having every Tom, Dick, Harry, and the country dog from Savannah thrown into the mix to run for political office. Because all you do is water down the vote. Yes? Now, I know it's hard to tell people because they have a right, but to say to them, why are all of these people running? You had Christina Hislop Rowlandson. Never even heard about her ever before. Now, I knew the last name because her mom, ironically enough, used to be my landlord in Pasadena Place. But when I heard of Christina, I'm like, who the hell is she? I've never known her to be involved in the community. Like, is community involvement something that, people with a track record of caring about issues and being involved? I don't even know who she is. Has she ever spoken out on anything? And of course, once they don't get elected, they disappear anyway. Y'all know that already. So who are these people? Frank McFeel got 6.06% of the vote. He got less than an unknown. Let that sink in for a second. Christina, that nobody knew in the world of politics, never in the community, got more votes than Frank, who is a former MP and Minister of Government. If this is not a sign for Dr. Frank that he needs to retire from politics, then I don't know what is. Richard Bernard got 7 votes. Sorry, Mr. Richard. Don't bother. Georgetown North, we had Joseph Xavier Hugh. That's Joey. And Johan Moxham. He beat him out 56.45% to 43.55%. I think that was definitely a more evenly matched race in terms of, what people are bringing to the table. Of course, the incumbent ended out edging him out. Georgetown South, we had Barbara and Alric. Alric didn't do too bad at all, got 47.28%, and Barbara got 52.72%. And listen, these people got in. Let me tell you in terms of actual votes, right? So she got 524 minus 470. 54 votes. Now, my question for Alric is, I know that he's still quietly doing stuff in the community. He's community minded and he's helping people. Okay. But we need to know as early as possible, what are your intentions for the next election? Are you planning to run, yay or nay? Don't wait till 1 month out so that you cannot spend any money on the election and tell the people what you're going to do. Again, this is a problem, right? This last minute tactical delay is not something that is going to be beneficial to you. Now, I know some people do it, and I saw that happening in West Bay, for example, with Mario running against McKeeva Bush. He did it at the last minute because, he has a job. But listen, once again, this comes down to what we're looking for in our MPs. If you have an interest in running, you should know at least 12 months beforehand that you have an interest in running. And so you need to budget accordingly. Of course, a lot of you will have to give up your jobs. Duh. So you start to save money for the election. You should know what your budget is. Start pricing stuff out. I need to get t-shirts. I need to have meetings. I need to have this and that. Figure out what this is going to cost you to be able to run an election. And start saving towards that so that if you are in a job where they're not going to be flexible with you remaining in the job and you need to come out, you can do so with more than sufficient time. If somebody can't even plan a campaign, why are we electing these people to public office? Something that is in their direct benefit, right? They can't do. How are they going to help plan for the country? Miss Elaine says transparency is lacking. So Miss Elaine, I want you to add that to our list of things that we want. Transparency when it comes to candidates. When we talk about things like transparency, what does that mean? When we talk about things like accountability, what does that mean? We are going to break it down, folks. We got time. We're going to do what the MPs themselves are not doing. We're going to plan ahead of the next election in terms of what it is that we want. We're going to make our list. Right. Another race that was head-to-head that was really, really good, Alden McLaughlin and Sammy Jackson, James Samuel Jackson. I'm curious to know if these people are planning to run again. Prospect was a three-way race, almost split right down the middle, to be honest. Sabrina ended up edging them out with 37.24% of the vote. And then Michael got 32%. And hot on his heels was Austin with 30.38%. Most of these constituencies, and quite frankly, in my opinion, all of them, only needs to have two people running. We have got to get out of this idea of have every Tom, Dick, Harry, and like I said, the country dog running in an election, because all you do is water down the vote. So, some of y'all have ran multiple times now. You've not been successful. You've not gotten in. And I'm going to make a recommendation to some of you that you should not ever run again. You need to think about it. Gianna Williams, she ran in Savannah. Gianna, stick with real estate. Captain Eugene, where is Captain Eugene, by the way? Is he still, he's okay? I haven't heard a word about him. Is he still around? Rolston, don't run again. Y'all don't want a cold hard truth. What I'm always shocked by are the people who come and run and then disappear in between the general election. Where do they go? What do y'all do? I mean, honestly. Mr. Kenrick Webster got 98 votes. Leave that alone. Cayman Courts said we need MPs who have our people at heart and are not sold out to the rich, willing to stand up and say no, because it doesn't benefit my people or my country. Good morning. Oh gosh, make sure I get this. Is it Grease Riv? So Sandy, I love your program. Thank you so much. And forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your social media name. Liana says one of the reasons why, money for a vote. So sad. Magnum Opus says an uneducated and ill-informed voter is the main problem. Absolutely. Having a slate of candidates, educated or otherwise, is up to the voter. And we all know most don't analyze what they hear. And this, I'm hoping, is what we can do differently this time. We need to elevate the conversation. What a hot mess. Sorry, Everton. Dee Dee says it hasn't changed since I attended school with just passing the children through the system. We're going to get to that conversation, Dee Dee, because it's very, very serious. Rough Sea says Elvis has a lot to offer other than just pot. Give me the list. I need to have the list. He's entertaining, and I enjoy listening to him. And I mean, he does tell it like it is a lot of times. But when it comes as a representative of the people, I want you to tell me when you say he has a lot to offer. Just tell me what you mean by that. I am not so stuck in my position that I cannot be convinced. So talk to me. Talk to me about the contributions to Parliament, the debate on the various things, how he'll be able to stand up, going overseas to represent us at conferences and all this kind of stuff. Convince me. As Alejandro says, bro, convince me. Yeah? All right. And leave the port of Georgetown alone, says Leanna. Well, y'all getting the port in Cayman right now. What a hot mess. Alejandro says politics is where we, the people, can stay one place and watch same do nothing for the rest of their life. No, sir. Good morning, Mr. Andy, joining us from La Ceiba. How are you? Damien says, I hope that Sammy runs again. Again, it would be nice if we knew this, although he's on a government board. So maybe at this time, he's not really in a position to say. But I think a lot of us were hopeful that he would have actually taken out Alden. I mean, I know y'all like Slickback Rick, a.k.a. Alden McLaughlin, but God knows, ask yourself, what has he done for me lately? Me being we the people of the Cayman Islands. And now he's got the best job as Speaker of the House. So maybe that's where he'll stay. I don't even know. But honey, child, Sammy, you did good. And I think a lot of people are hopeful that he will give it another try again. Let me see here. Good morning, Miss Debbie. Good morning, Perla. Fiscal responsibility, Miss Pat. Very good. They say if you vote, you have a voice, but majority of the time they don't care what those people that voted has to say. What a shame, says Perla. Alejandro says, I don't want to see no one voting with pencils this time. In a transparency must have went, what? Sorry. Must have meant change your choice with an eraser. Perla says that I'm coming out of my turtle shell for the next election. Okay. Cayman Kind says, I'd like to see the people of this country vote for who should be premier or deputy premier and who should hold a ministerial position. Well, unfortunately, that's not the type of constitutional structure that we have. And part of the issue with it, Cayman Kind, is you don't know who's getting in. So how you'd have to do that is you'd have to have multiple votes. So you'd have to have the general election and see who got in and then go back to the polls again. That's not the type of system. That's not the Westminster system. I hate to tell you. And realistically, I don't see that changing. We can't just jump up and say, well, we're going to create a whole new system of government when we're tied to the United Kingdom. Garrett says, it sounds like the credits at the end of a movie. You begin to wonder what happened to the side characters. What a mess. Chelsea, good morning. Chelsea says, not everyone who calls out politicians or calls for better governance should run for office. Can we get an amen? Just like not everybody who's a talk show should be running for office. It's so funny when people say that to me. Oh my God, Sandy, you should run for office. And I say, why? Because you hear me every day on a talk show and we become like family. And you hear me as Mary Jean just said, man, Sandy, you're making plenty of sense. That doesn't mean, don't fall for it, because y'all have fallen for it before. That doesn't mean that that person has the qualities required for an MP. Just because they make sense on a talk show, or they call into talk programs, or they even have their own talk show, that does not qualify them to find their way out of a paper bag. It's not enough. Right? I have no intentions of ever running for political office in this country again. And I would say that if you were sitting here listening to me and you say, Sandy sounds like she's smartish, she has some good ideas, this and that. Yeah, we need her in political office. I would say pump the brakes. What you need is to have me right where I am. Am I not making an amazing difference right here in this hot seat, bringing the issues to you guys? We're dissecting it. We're calling out politicians. Somebody has to do that job. So let's stick with that. So to Chelsea's point, I agree. And you see how contrived politicians can be. One election coming up, all of a sudden they can pop up and start doing a show, start coming on the radio, talking about this, even the ones that are in there now. You'll see. They're going to start making more public appearances all of a sudden. Don't be fooled by the optics. Not everything that sounds good and glitters is worth it. When you scratch off the top, you find out that is fake gold. That's, what do they call it? Gold plated. You need to see what's underneath it. Chelsea goes on to say, not everyone is cut out for a life of servitude and or that level of leadership. Too often we see posts leading to comments of, you should run, or in conversation, people encourage that person to throw their hat in the ring. We need to stop that. Oh, girl, you're making some sense. You're going to get 2 kabooms. People can be statesmen and women without saturating the pool of candidates to the point that votes are spread so thinly, which increases the chance. And then unfortunately, it cut you off. But point taken, increases the chance of the incumbent running. Yeah. Not everybody that jumps up on social media and has an opinion is leadership material. I see people all the time. I'm interested and I follow, I've got some people that I follow and I'm friends with a whole ton of people on Facebook. And I see their comments and I think to myself, but what have you done to demonstrate your leadership capability? What have you done with your life? You got to have some kind of track record. You see, I think that we bought into this philosophy, just like you guys go on your jobs and you're like, oh, I can just show up to the job and do whatever. No experience, no nothing. I expect to get top dollar, expect to be minister, this, that, the next thing. Y'all show up in the world of politics the exact same way. You haven't done anything. You haven't achieved anything. You have no history of accomplishments, but yet you want a top job. And I'm thinking, how exactly does that work? I don't think that should be the case at all. We've got to expect something proven. You've done something in your life, something that shows you have the ability to stick through hard times. You can sacrifice in the moment to get that little piece of paper, to get that certificate, to get something. Where is the history of what these people have done? There is none, and we're still electing them to public office. Shame on us. Leanna says, what are these candidates going to contribute to the community? In schools, neighborhoods, how you treat and talk to people, especially when he or she run your household or maintain themselves appearance. Okay. So those are some of the things that are important to her. Pat says, we the people determine who meets the criteria. Well, we should be, is my point, because we are the people who vote for them. And so if we're voting them into office and they're selling us a bag of like, this is why you should vote for me, let's make sure we know what we actually want. I don't know what this is, what Alejandro saying we're going to see hell all day. I'm not sure. Ingrid says politicians don't care about the community. They only care about their pockets. They don't leave their offices to go out and find out the needs of the people who voted them in. I mean, Ingrid, the crazy thing about that is they all get money from government. So that's our money, public funds, to be able to maintain a constituency office. And so and I've spoken about this in depth before, I'm very disappointed when I hear that you can't even manage and run a constituency office. You can't hire people to be there, to make appointments for you where you can have the opportunity to sit down with people in your constituency. You're getting the money for it. What are you doing with the money? Does Bernie Bush have a constituency office now? Because for quite some time, he didn't have one. And even when he had one, there was nobody there working. He was having someone paid under government and not actually utilizing that woman to do anything. So somebody said they thought his daughter was now in that position. I'm like, huh? Stop hiring family members for those types of jobs, please. Morning, Miss Lucille. She says, good morning, Sandy. I see someone is saying some single mom have 5 boyfriends. I think she needs to add 5 more. Not saying they have to do it if they want to do it, and it is no profit. The only profit is more babies. I'm not sure what that has to do with political candidates, but anyway. Goldsmith says people need to evaluate candidates on ideas and their positions and key items, and not not base their votes on what the candidate will do for them personally or the candidate's last name. Amen. For Cayman to be better, it starts with us. We choose the direction of this country through our votes, and we need to do better, to expect better for our politicians. Amen to that. Morning, Gabby. Says Miss Sandy, I will never vote. Oh, don't say that. Because it's the same thing every time. A bunch of he say, she say ish and broken promises, etc. Oh, man. So Rusty says, go back in your video archives and compare Elvis McKeever's campaign speech to Juliana's campaign speech. She only gave one. To be fair, he always had more of an audience, but I think that's because people find Elvis entertaining. Elvis is going to curse and he's going to pop off and, he's going to have his drink and he's a little bit sauced up. But yes, I mean, I think that all of them could be having more meetings and so forth, more public meetings. But I don't think that is the litmus test or enough for whether or not someone would make a great leader, as we've been saying. Magnum Opus says, I'm of the view that it's too late to save Cayman. Jesus, Magnum Opus, no. The momentum in which this runway train is heading to the cliff, only Jesus can pull off a miracle. And he isn't in that business any longer. Wow, that is so defeatist. No. We can change. Listen, every single day that we get up and something changes because of a conversation, even that we're having here, that's important. Do never, ever give up on your country. Look at us poor people in Haiti. My God. I'm sure it's easy to give up and not even whatever. Everybody just leaves Haiti. But somebody's got to stay and fight. Paul, good morning. Paul's from Bermuda, but he's actually on island visiting us a couple days. Pat said the dog and pony show has already started. Faded Mary Jane says people fall for the gab. It's a sheep-like mentality. Good morning to Miss Sue. Says the cost of living is going to get worse. And I'm going to tell you the cost of living all over the world is actually going to get worse. I was just reading an article this weekend in Miami about a complex that they're building that is going to have tiny apartments. Was it Miami? I think it's Miami. Tiny apartments, starting at $2,000 per apartment. I was like, what? For a little tiny unit. Lord Jesus. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this story again. $2,000 for tiny unit apartments. I believe it was Miami. Let me see. Good morning, caller. Hold on. I can't hear you through the board. Give me 1 second. Let me just unplug it and plug it back in. Ooh. Okay, try that again. Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yes, morning.
Yes, good morning. I don't want to come off the subject of the politicians yet. I got a little story to tell you, then I give you a statement after about a reflection of what the people are expecting from these politicians. I was speaking, or I was in a group of people, and a politician was speaking, and he said that he ran for election, but not in the Cayman Islands. He ran for election, and he's very educated. As far as I know, he's a college, university degree person, finance. This person went out in the community. He's a community-oriented person, everything, right? But he doesn't have much. He just finished paying off his university bills. Yeah. He went to the people and offered the people education, told them that he will help to finance a decent school and get the community going and everything ready, right? And you know that they didn't vote for him. They voted for somebody who was less than him. The reason why that person was given handouts. You understand? This person couldn't afford to give handouts. He was giving them solutions, but it wouldn't happen in 1 or 2 years.
Yep.
To educate a nation takes at least a decade, at least, to get the country up to speed, to get the people to be in the country up to speed, right? So the people, everybody here want this band-aid, quick fix, the circuit, the TV, the radio. As we realize this is not working, as we have seen, you are calling out some election stats of people running, right? I don't mind everybody in the woodshed coming out who are educated and dedicated. Not just any Tom, Dick and Harry coming out just for a paycheck or somebody paying you to destroy your own country, basically. Because if you should get there, what are you going to do? Get there with the thumbs them tied up? Now, I mean, we have some likable people, but at the same time, we need educated guests. Like,
yes.
I have seen, we have had a great Minister of Finance run, or one of the greatest that we have ever had, the greatest in the whole region, but yet we choose a Mr. Cayman over him. What does that say about the people?
Well, I'll tell you what it says, and let me. That was one of those anomalies. I don't think he won by much. I think it was just maybe 5, 6
Even
votes.
by one is too much. Even to be close to running is too much.
Here's the problem. Let me tell you now about that type of a situation, right? It's not just, and this is why when I say that we need to talk about the things that we want, it's not just education and qualifications in that sense. People want, let's be very clear, people want people who are likable. So you could be the most educated person in the world, and if you are not likable, you're gonna lose votes.
So
now I'm not saying that his competition wasn't likable. What I'm saying is,
I understand what you're saying, right? I understand, but I want to ask the question.
When you used to getting on a stage and flaunting around in your little Mr. Cayman bikini and whatever, you become perhaps very good at being a puppet master. Somebody just said the following to consider. They said, well, we had Austin and Kenneth, both former talk show hosts, and they got in. You know why people like, and this is why anytime people say to me, Sandy, you should run for office, I tell them, I said, no, honey child. People see you every day on a talk show. They think they know you. And of course, we all get to know each other to a certain extent, right? So I sit on this program. We all have a good talk. People come up to me and hug me. I had a lady at Taysa Cayman. The affinity that people have for me because of this talk show program is truly amazing. And I appreciate it and I love it. That still does not mean that I would make a good candidate or that I'm the person that you should be voting for if I ran for political office. You got to dig deeper than that.
Okay, let me finish your thought too. Okay, we can't but we can't choose likability over sustainability.
I agree. I agree.
This is where the country should be, you know what I mean?
But people are human beings. Yes, but people are human beings.
But they can be trained.
Well, I mean, I'm going to challenge people to think a little bit more. Here's what this person said. Eve said Marco was arrogant. Now he complains of some regulations and laws he helped to bring in. You know, one of the things that really hurt Marco Archer going into that election was that exchange that he had on the talk show with Kenneth. Remember? Do y'all remember it?
Yeah.
That cost him the 5 votes that Kenneth won by, or 5 people who listened to the show that morning and who thought, oh no, I don't like how he's talking down to Kenneth. I don't like how he come across as arrogant. That was the problem.
Me personally, I would have me and Marco don't see eye to eye. But as an educated guest, to make a leader of my country to lead me, I would make Marco lead me down to anywhere else than to let somebody who don't know nothing about what they're going on with. Because basically, Marco has set certain things in place financially for the Cayman Islands to go forward. You know what I mean? What has anybody else getting that kind of cue? You know what I mean? We have other islands that modeling their finances off of what this man has done. So you tell me now, I don't care about what he had said. It's about his work. It's all about his work.
Other people obviously cared because what they saw in that moment.
Those are the ones who like the turkey and the ham at Christmas.
Well, I don't know because I think what people saw in that moment, everybody has the ability, I guess, to lose their cool. As we've seen that very same, it's so funny now that the tables are turned because on a lot of occasions we've seen and hear Kenneth say certain things on radio that we're like, what on earth just came out of his mouth?
Exactly. Right? Nobody's perfect.
Right. But in that moment, during an election, you might not be perfect, but you better be careful. You better be very careful what you say.
Well, like I said, we got to do a better and a little guess. Because I guess we when we put these people in and thinking that they're going to do the right thing for us, you know, because they're all sound bites until they get there. To see what they're really about. But for me, we need to get to the point where we have a criteria for these elected officials, so we can actually hold them accountable.
Well, that's what I was just saying this morning. We're going to do. So I hope to hear you call in once we start that process here shortly.
No, but we can't put a fox in front of the hen house and say he's accountable for these hens.
Well, that's for sure.
It's impossible, and that's what we keep on doing.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, my dear. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Miss Magdalene says, caller, you are right. Kaboom.
Kaboom!
Rush Seas says, sorry, Sandy. If I saw you coming, I would go and hide. Well, that's your prerogative. Ask me if I care. Wonk, wonk, wonk. Don't care. Sydney says, yes, Mr. Archer would have won. However, his comment hurt his chances as an incumbent. He was also here by the last minute decision. He was also, what? He was also here by the last minute decision by the then premier. Oh, you mean the last minute decision to run in Central? Because that was the first time we did one man, one vote, right? Hurt his chances and the last minute switch by the former premier. Okay. So yes, my understanding, and you know, people who were closer, I was not obviously involved at PPM at all at that time, but my understanding is that he was encouraged by Alden because they needed somebody to run against Kenneth, and basically they had no one. So he was encouraged by Alden, but it was the party's. He ultimately made the decision, obviously. But it was the party's arrogance that tripped them up because they assumed, just like that last caller said, nobody should have voted for Kenneth over what's his name? Marco Archer. They assumed that Marco Archer would be a shoo-in. Because on paper, the dude is like a finance minister. He's got all these professional qualifications. Everybody was like, Marco has this in the bag. And in the world of politics, there's no such thing. Nothing is ever in the bag. Yeah? You cannot assume, again, it comes down to emotions with people, to say that, yes, this person is going to win over this one. So T-Rick says, I think a college degree should at least be needed. I'm going to start jotting down a few of these things as a preliminary list. And then when we start to work in earnest on this exercise, we're going to firm up this list a bit. So I've got integrity, transparency, a college degree. These are some of the things I've been hearing people say throughout this morning's program. Thank you. Inspiring says, Sandy, speaking sincerely, I really do not know why you do not want to get into politics. You would do a very good job. I appreciate it, Inspiring. And this is how I explain it. There's a number of reasons why. The first one is, I feel like where I am now, this is where I need to be. Right? So, oftentimes I say you're right where you're supposed to be. Listen, who else in the mornings today is just a regular day, over 500 people just on social media paying attention. Right? Who else are you going to call when the police are not doing their job? We're going to switch the conversation here. When the court needs to be called out. Why are they protecting child predators and rapists and child molesters? I have that question here today. There are issues of national discussion that we need to be having. Did I say that right? Issues of national importance that we need to be having in terms of a conversation that we are here having every single morning. Could I be a good MP or even a great MP? Maybe. But right now, this is where the people need me the most. Every single day, I am so effective. Even the police telling people, go to Sandy, call Sandy when you've lost something or this happening or that happening. Are they telling you to call any of your MPs? I don't think so. So I think it's important to recognize where you are doing a really good job and where you are most effective. So Inspiring says, well, can't you do both? I doubt that you'd be able to do both very well. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra.
Morning, love.
I was thinking about you yesterday. I know what other people is saying is right about you running, but then you would not be able to get on the radio and do the things that you're doing now, that we are blind to, that we don't know nothing about, and you bringing us up to date with all of these kind of things. I know that, but I want to say this. I think that the last gentleman was so right. The Marco Archer is one of the most educated men, maybe educated man and woman in this island. He has a law degree, he has an economics degree, and he has an accounting degree.
Oh yeah, he's well qualified, without a doubt.
Well qualified.
Yes.
Well qualified. Anyway, to get on to what the subject was, I also know down here in particular, when I say down here, I mean West Bay in particular, that I guess if they do it for them, they'll do it for the rest of the politicians. What I'm going to say, that they give them extra money every month to help people that can't pay, let's say the elderly people that can't pay a like bill or water bill, utilities.
Let me be clear about this, about what they're given, right? So they get $5,000 for constituency rent. So they're supposed to have an office for constituency office. They also get, I believe it's another $5,000 to run that office. So the ones who don't have an office, they say, well, we take that money and we help people in the constituency. Now, in my mind, there's zero accountability for that money. If we were to ask for some receipts of who is getting helped or how many phone cards you're handing out or whatever, I don't know that there is any legal requirement for there to be any accountability in terms of that.
Well, I don't know the amount that they're getting, but I've always been told this. Now, some of our politicians,
but they can do whatever they want. I mean, some of them, obviously, if they have an office, they've got to pay light bills and all these other things. So they might not have as much if they're actually maintaining an office out of that budget to help people in the community. But it's really meant for a community office to have a presence, a physical presence within your constituency.
But I understand, Sandra, that they're getting extra money. Why I'm saying this? A couple of years ago, a friend and I were trying to help somebody, but we end up, help many people, and we did help many people. One of them was even a nurse down here that had retired and had a stroke and on and on and on and on. Anyway, this gentleman that we were trying to help last needed a refrigerator. And he also has one leg. Now, the government had built him a little home. And the home, I'm going to say where the home is because this is the God in heaven's truth. The home is in Birch Tree Hill.
Okay.
So we went there and we found out that he needed a refrigerator. God rest his soul. June, I tried to help him with a refrigerator because he had one that he was using. But that didn't work too well. We even helped June's get the refrigerator in the little home. But that didn't work too well. And then somebody else gave him one, and that didn't work too well. My husband and I decided that we would buy him a refrigerator. We got him one from A.L. Thompson, and Alti gave us a discount on it after we explained the situation and whatnot. Now, I'm not bragging about ourselves. I'm speaking about what the helper told us. Say, do you know that so-and-so holds money for this politician to help people like who I am working with? And his name is Al. And we call her up. We call the person up. And she was blue wax. Who told you that? Who told you that? Who? And on and on and on. So she went on. She went on so bad that we knew doggone right she was as guilty as sin. So it does happen, especially down here. McKeever Bush only give people that suck up to him. The other rest that don't suck up to him may need to. But he only gives those kind of people. And we're not that kind of people. we work doggone hard for what we get, and we continue to help other people that is less fortunate, because we know what it is to be poor and need of stuff, not want, in need of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I got another story to tell you, but I guess somebody.
Can we save that one maybe for another day?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a sad one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll save that for another day, because we're not burying our friend until Saturday. A friend that we were brought up with. I mean, with all of us down here in Northwest Point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll save that for another day.
All right, my dear.
Thank you,
so
Sandra.
So sorry for your loss.
Yes, thank you. And we're sorry too. We're so sorry. But thank you very much, Sandy, for listening. And what what I just said today is the heavens and God's truth.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. And you always do a good job. Please stay on that job.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, my darling. I appreciate it. Wow. She got very emotional this morning. It happens. My goodness. Let's read a few more comments. So Leroy says Alden threw Marco under the bus. Well, ultimately it was Marco's decision. And I think they made even if it was a slight miscalculation, they certainly made a miscalculation, because originally it was supposed to be Alden that would have ran against Kenneth. And I guess what an upset that would have been, not just to lose a minister, but remember that term, they lost quite a few ministers, PPM. Y'all were not really that happy with them. But not only did they lose a minister, but imagine what the upset would have been if they had actually lost the premier to Kenneth. What a hot mess that would have been. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning. Blessing Monday morning.
Yes,
good
ma'am.
greetings to you.
Thank you.
This money that they get to help the community,
yes,
they don't do it. They get separate money for their rent.
I was just trying to look this up.
They need to buy computer papers and stuff. There's one in West Bay. When a young woman was working for him, he told her that she had to go buy the computer, the printing paper. And she had to buy this and that. He wasn't doing it. He don't even have an office. So they get like $300 and something thousand, or I don't know if it is a year, or I can't remember at the moment. But I was told this by one of their employees who work for them. They get money especially for rent, and they get money to pay 2 staff. And then they got this big lot of money.
Yeah, the ministers get more staff, but let me try and look it up. I'm going to try to because I know
something like that. It's something like that. It goes. But to think that people is in need and they bank that money for themselves. One woman, Westbay, don't even have an office. You can't find him. Westbay got 4 representatives, and you couldn't find them to sign a passport form if you had to pay them. You couldn't even find them. So people need to wake up. They're having a joy time with our money and wasting it. Caymanians need to get up and say what we got to say. We have to unite and march. We got to get this island, as the old people would say, rectified, because they're getting this money and people is in need.
Yes,
people is hungry. Bringing in all these people now got jobs. You need to do what they done in the Bahamas years ago. You know, with the Bahamas, where the people was in the same situation with all the people there working in hotels and this and that. Bahamian government said, okay, let me tell you, you're an accountant. You clean hotel rooms, which cleaning hotel rooms is not a sin as long as it's an honest job. That's another thing Caymanians got to bear in mind, because they say they don't want nobody to say I'm a cash registered Foster's, but it's an honest job and you're up in AC, outside, sweating and moving rocks. At least try to enjoy the nice atmosphere. Anyway, Bahamian government told them, say, let me tell you all, you're an accountant, you clean hotel rooms, you're a bartender. Okay, what we going to do? We're going to move out all the foreigners. and they moved out all the foreigners and replaced them with Bahamian people. You all come forth. You Caymanians come forth. Tell us what you capable of doing. And we put you in jobs. But here the beat. Do not leave after 2 weeks. Because this is what we as Caymanians is in fault, you know.
Yeah.
So that's
because remember when under the last administration, and I mean the Progressives administration, they even gave themselves entitlement to severance pay so that when they don't get voted back in, and not just voted back in, but even if they decide to quit, so say they decide to retire, they get 3 months salary after the general election.
3 months salary if they're not re-elected.
I said, who on earth does that?
And we Caymanians, that's all we sitting on our top too much.
Yeah. You got that right.
Another thing, the money is flying out. After election, you hear this minister had this and that amount of money missing. I read in the Compass years ago with $65,000. No, sir, I believe $65,000 or I can't remember because several good years now. $1 million was missing. And when the poor auditor goes and open their mouth, they ship them off to England. Caymanians, your people is suffering. Our people is suffering, and we sitting down. You will not nobody saying a word. Just when you see them, you run up to them and say, "Hey, David!" Yeah? But they're the very ones that don't want nothing to do with you till election time. And got all this money just splurging, stupidly, bringing in all of these people. I don't have nothing against no other nationality. And people, another thing too, Caymanian people is see a foreigner here working, they get vexed. You don't get vexed with a foreigner here working, especially if you got permit and you did everything legal. You get vexed with our leaders. I had a woman to say, "Oh, they don't like Jamaicans." You're not the Jamaicans. It's the leaders of this country that has allowed things to go on, because what go on here can't go on Jamaica or nowhere else. And then another thing too, laws and rules and regulations. A foreigner come here because he got money. Oh, we want to change this. And they goes and changes it right up in Legislative Assembly. I heard Mary Lawrence, a woman I respect very much, said so. Said that why do we do that? I heard her one morning on the radio came on. Why do we do that? And I know she didn't have to tell me, and most people, everybody know. So this thing about can't get jobs, you can get jobs.
I gotta tell you one. I gotta tell you one reason. Yeah, I gotta tell you one reason some of our people can't get. Yeah, I gotta tell you one reason, and it's gonna be y'all not gonna like it, but I gotta tell you a reason why some of our people can't get jobs here in a minute. Thank you so much, caller. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, darling. 936-2626. Blackberry says, "Are you planning on running for office?" No. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandy.
Morning, love. How are you?
Listening to that lady a while ago, a lot of things is just talk. As a business person, are you gonna dry up a source of your revenue?
No, I would hope not. Not if you're a smart business person.
Okay. We will continue to have this problem because, okay, for instance, I'm going to just use a scenario. An accountant permit is running at, say, $10,000 per year. To put a Caymanian in that position, that is a loss of revenue for the government. So there is no incentive there. But it may look good initially, but it is worse on the back end, because then you have that Caymanian who has 2 children going to NAU. NAU is paying rent for them that I am going to use round a figure. $1,000 per month, which adds up to $12,000 per year. So basically, you already run over what the permit costs. Plus, on the other end, you are going to be providing grocery for them. So it looks pretty upfront because of the revenue. And I strongly believe that until immigration revenue is not calculated as a part of core government revenue, so they have to go in there trying to make a profit for government, it is not going to stop, Sandy. It is not going to stop. So we could talk until we are blue in the face, unless that is changed and changed by legislation, it is not going to change. And I have another topic. Nepotism and insurance fraud, because I see it as fraud, and I'm going to tell you what I mean. The nepotism, if you go to Georgetown Hospital now, it seems as if it's an Indian town. What one of the top managers there, she is an Indian, and she is replacing everybody else with Indians.
That's Georgetown Hospital?
Georgetown Hospital.
Okay.
The insurance fraud now is that if you realize when you go to a lot of these private institutions, they are sending you to do 50 different blood tests for a simple cold. And I have learned that a lot of these doctors in our private institution, their salary, a part of their salary is coming from the money that the insurance pay for these tests. So you see, we are shafted both ways. You wonder why health insurance premium goes up so much. These are the reasons. Because a lot of persons, especially those that are on the simple plan, they do not use it for the year. And I can tell you, I dare you to ask one of these representatives from one of these hospitals up front to their face, and I can tell you they are not going to answer you honestly. All these barrage of tests that you are doing, the doctors get a percentage out of it as a part of their salary. So they are going to continue to send you to do all these tests. And we, the consumer, through our insurance, pay for it, and then our premium goes up.
What a mess. Thank you, caller. Appreciate it. So many issues. Wow. Yikes. What a hot mess. Lots of comments coming in fast and furious. So somebody asked the question. I want to make sure I answer your questions directed at me. If I couldn't do both, I think you can't do both effectively. So let me tell you all a little bit about myself. I'm actually a very busy person. Even now, I wish I could answer my phone more and do more for every single person that calls me. There's only 24 hours in a day. In terms of priority, my family comes first. You can't have somebody sacrificing their family and trying to save the world or their country. That'll make no sense. My health has got to become more of a priority. So y'all know I need to get out there. I need to find more time to exercise, lose some weight. I need to eat healthier, mental health and wellness. I need to do some yoga sessions, Pilates, something. All of that takes time. And still continue to contribute to my community. So I'm also of the sincere belief that once you become an MP, you need to give that job, because that's what it is, 100% of your time. The only competing interest would be your family. You shouldn't have any other business interests that you're actively involved in. And you shouldn't have any other projects that would be taking away your time from the people who are paying you a very decent salary to be able to represent them. You have to make the people's business your number one priority. And so I don't think that anyone could do what I'm doing now and also be an MP at the same time. Something would have to give. And truth be known, I don't need the money. Now, I'm not trying to be conceited. I said I don't need the money, and I also don't want the money. Understood? I'm perfectly fine financially. I'm making my little real estate investments as I should as a Caymanian. I got to get myself a little piece of land other than the primary house. And so that these days is quite honestly my focus in terms of business and future proofing myself. So I will help you all, though, to try to make the best possible decisions coming into the next election. And again, who better to do that? I'm here for that job. So that's okay. I understand because people stop me all the time, but you're our voice. But look at how many people you thought were your voice until they got elected to office. Then all of a sudden they get on the radio talking pork cockamamie to you about, oh, well, I'm bound by collective responsibility and I can't speak up. Right now, every single one of those MPs in office are scared of Juliana O'Connor Conley. The ones that are part of this current coalition government, or whatever they call themselves, UPM or whatever. They're all afraid of her. She rules with an iron fist, and she's still not really controlling them because they're doing the most out in the streets anyway. They're still fighting up in cabinet. But publicly, they do not want to say anything against her. They're afraid. She's put the fear of God. You know why? Because she can replace them at any time by running to the PPM. All them people lying. That Barbara been attending stuff with her, getting in photo ops, all that sort of stuff. So guess what? The previous leader, Wayne Panton, didn't have those options. He had to work with the group that he had. He didn't have a fallback. Oh, the PPM is there, and y'all better shape up. Or else I'm going to go pull in some of the PPM members. So his situation was a lot more precarious than what she's dealing with, and everybody knows it. Right now, they're all afraid of this woman. She has laid down the law. Don't you dare go on CMR. Don't you pay Sandy any money. I mean, she is all up in it. So where's their voice now on behalf of the people? How are they helping you, the people? Ask yourself that real question. All right, let me deal with this, and then I want to move on to talk about something that's happening with the courts that I'm not particularly happy about. Poor Sue says, unbelievable. Oh, my God. So much that's unbelievable. Ay. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, honey child.
Good
How
morning. I'm just perfectly fine. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored
Yes.
beyond all measures.
Take that.
Yes, ma'am.
What's on your mind?
My darling, topic you're on today.
Yes, ma'am.
Or MPs. What role do they play in their constituencies? None at all. Some of them. And I am basically talking for Georgetown, Windsor Park, Central Scranton, and Rock Hall.
My God.
Nothing, you child, because at the end of the day, all of the illegal activities that are going on in our communities, and they are okay with it. You understand? You can't get them to involve or reach out to the police and say this is a no tolerance. Bear in mind, it doesn't happen in the upscale communities. You understand? And why is it that we don't have a level playing field? What is not tolerated in the upper scale should not be tolerated in the lower scale communities. We don't have MPs to stand up for people's safety, for people's health in our communities. You understand? Right now, for quite some time, I have been speaking out against 12 candidates Kennedy Drive. We have people who can't get no rest on 12 Kennedy Drive. You know what the MP for that community said to me? He wished there was a piece of land that where he had developed to put these people who want to have their parties. Instead of addressing the issue, you have voting people who vote for him can't rest and can't get no sleep. Your home should be your little heaven, your little place in heaven where when you finish work, you can go home and rest and enjoy the comfort of your bed in peace.
True.
And it ain't happening. You understand? But at the same time, you cannot get the MPs to address it because I personally feel if the MPs would reach out to the police, I understand they can't make the police do their jobs, but reach out to the police and says, this is a nuisance, this is a disturbance in the community, and it entails of all kind of illegal activities, no food license, no alcohol license, no function license. And bear in mind, Mr. Noel Williams, who is chairman of the Liquor License Board, sends over to the police every weekend who is permitted, who has permission, who has approval. Right? And you can't get the police to act. You can't get DCI to act. And you're going to tell me the MP can't reach out to these people. Guys, I need you guys to uphold the law, to work according to the law. Let's get these places solved. Let's get our people at peace. Let's get these people from stop parking on our sidewalks. Let's stop letting these people park by our stop signs or no parking signs or double yellow lines. Where is the care and concern of the MP? There's none. Zip. Nada. There is none. You understand? And I see a lot of people talking about, oh, we need educated people to be MP. You have some educated fools, God forgive me for saying so, but you have some educated fools in there as well. You understand? It takes common sense. It takes to be mindful of what's happening in your community. It takes getting out into your community to see what's going on. Bear in mind, there's some who knows exactly what's going on in their communities, and just don't give a hoot. It's either they're part of the problem, or it's friend, family thing, and securing that vote. Why a lot of these MP don't do the right thing. It is sad because then at the end of the day, it's the same people who is voting for them is hurting. They have no compassion for our people, no compassion whatsoever. You understand? It's all about them, making them happy and getting their votes and lining up their pockets with what they can get. And no matter who gets hurt, that's not what an MP should be about. We need to look into this in 2025, God's will, and make sure that we remember all of this. We need to choose people or vote for people who look out for the well-being and the safety in our community, the health of our people, who really are about making a change and making a difference with supporting and our people. You understand? Not only for the rich man. You understand? Because if it was left to the rich people just to vote and put them in there, they would never get in. It's the same people that they turns their back to at the end of the day after they done bribe them up and get their votes.
Well, you see, this is where the people must do, but caller, this is where the people must do better. Stop allowing your vote to be, you sell out yourself and you sell out your country and you sell out your vote for so cheap.
Sell yourself short. They sell me the people, a lot of them sell themselves short. I wonder if the people realize who sit in that House of Parliament is not the government, We, the people, is the government. If we, the people, and if we, the people, was to hold them accountable for their actions, things would change.
Yes.
All we need is we, the people, to stand up and speak out and say enough is enough. This is leading us down has led us down the wrong path, and we're now reaping the results of being led down the wrong path. You understand? We need to bring this back. We need to bring Cayman back to what Cayman was. You understand? And stand up for our principles. You understand? There's no one to hold no one accountable.
Well,
That is our major problem.
Well, we're here doing it. They don't like it, but we're here doing it. On that note, caller, thank you very much. Okay, my darling. That's the other reason why, a lot of you might be sitting back saying, oh, Sandy should be an MP. Who is going to hold the MPs accountable? I'm sorry, but show me. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm open to being convinced. Who else in the world of media, especially? There's a reason why they say that media is the fourth arm of government, because there can be a degree of accountability. Where is it? We can't expect Radio Cayman to do it. I'm sorry, but they're government owned. There's an automatic conflict of interest. And you see when they're over there now pandering to them, but we'll give you more money in your budget. We definitely not gonna hear nothing from them again. Kaboom! For that last caller, you deserve the kaboom. Thank you so much. Everybody has a role and a function to play in a balanced society, for sure. All right, let me read a few of your comments, and I'm going to talk about the budget thing, and I want to get on to this thing with these child molesters. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra.
Morning, darling. How are you?
Happy Monday. I'm great.
Yes,
Thankful
thank you.
to the Lord for it too. I don't remember how long ago it's been that I called about having them sign a contract.
Yes.
I agree 100% with what that young lady just talked about. But listen, it's not going to get done until you have their signature signed to what we want.
I'm afraid that they're not going to be worth the paper
Well,
that they
if it ain't
signed
going to
it on.
happen, they won't get elected. Simple.
Yeah.
That is how you hire people. Give them a contract and they sign it, and this is what you're going to do. If not, you're fired or not even hired.
Well, you need to change the Constitution in order to make that have any relevance.
Well, if it's for the betterment of the country, we can do that too.
All right.
You just can't sit there and let these people do what they feel like, or they know the problem, or we are the problem solvers. They ain't going to solve the problem. They know what it is, but they know that our job is to solve it. And if we don't solve it, then it'll continue to be that way. Have a great day, love.
Thank you, darling. I appreciate it. Yes.
Bye.
I mean, that sounds like a great idea, but we'd have to change the Constitution. And I can tell you, it might sound easy to change the Constitution, but again, even the MPs are involved in that. They have to be supportive of that as well. All right, let's read a few more comments on this topic. Like I said, we'll come back to it. We're not going to be finished. So these are some comments that came in via WhatsApp. So this person says, I'm still curious as to where the $5,000 to maintain a constituency office is going for those who don't maintain one. Is it to buy votes? We're going to answer that here in a second. Good morning. My mama taught me there are two things that you never leave and go back to: a man and a job. If you go back, just know the reason you left is going to be there waiting. Trust me, with these politicians, we have the bottom of the barrel and S of the litter. By the way, the BA plane is still broken down in the Bahamas. Lord Jesus, what is going on with BA? Hoping to be up and flying this evening. Wow. Austin and Kenneth were both on talk shows. See what we got? Next comment says, I'm sorry, but Caymanians have to stop relying on or hoping that politicians will solve their problems. Politicians are supposed to facilitate and create opportunities for the citizens. And it is obvious that Cayman has a lot of opportunities, hence the number of people who come here for the opportunities. Too many of our people have to invest in themselves by upskilling themselves and stop looking for an easy way out. There is none. That one hit a nerve, because I saw the other day on Friday when someone sent us the photo of the guy rolling a spliff on government time as a road worker and sitting there with a beer. 99% of you got in the comment section and said the man is on his lunch break. Mind you, it's 10 something in the morning. You know, I don't know how to get breaks so quick, but anyhow, that's the slackness y'all be encouraging. The man is on his break and he's entitled to do whatever on his lunch break or on his break. You all are crazy. I don't care. And I know this is not a popular position because, like I said, I saw your comments. And let me be very clear. That demonstrated in large part what is wrong with our people. You cannot go on a job and sit down, even if you on your break, and sit down and roll a spliff. And that's what it was. The person who took the picture, well aware of what he was doing, saw the beer. You cannot go on people's workplace and do them sort of things. And the fact that Caymanians can sit back in the comment section and say that the person who sent that photo into CMR is just bad-minded. When people refuse to hire Caymanians, have nothing to say. This is the slackness that y'all want to do on people's workplace. Y'all have lost your damn minds. You hear me? I don't care. Nothing about, oh, everybody need a break. Everybody's stressed out. You don't come to my workplace and sit your behind down and drinking no alcohol. Huh? What kind of foolishness is that? Rolling a spliff? And that's my money paying for these street workers, and y'all out of your damn mind talking about, now if the man lose his job, he should lose his job. If he was working for me, I'd fire him. You see, Caymanians, when y'all ready, y'all slack, Y'all slack. Accept any kind of foolishness. Instead of encouraging this young man to be able to go a day without sitting on somebody's job, it's rolling a spliff and drinking a beer. If you don't have that much control by 10 something in the morning, you got to be doing that already? And you just start working? What the hell is wrong with you people? And the majority of you are up in the comment section supporting, this man. Everybody like that comment. Yeah. Why y'all trying to get the man fired for? Really? Right? This is why people do not want to hire Caymanians and your own Caymanians. Business owners are telling me, Sandy, this is the slackness. They come to work and every single public holiday is on the Monday, on the Tuesday, they got to take the day off. How can people run a business like this? Huh? Y'all better elevate yourselves. Y'all better elevate yourselves. It's a disgrace, the comments that I saw. Now, not going to happen to him because it's not the popular thing to do. That's why he not got no friggin' job now. How about that? Y'all want a dose of the cold hard truth? That's why the only job he can get sporadically is roadside cleanup, which happens 2-3 times for the year. Because nobody else can hire you when you sit down there with such a drug problem, you can't even go a whole day on the job without rolling a spliff. I'm sorry, but that's not how the real world works. There might be some employers who don't care about you doing it on your own time if they don't have you operating heavy equipment and doing anything too responsible. But on the workplace, listen to me. Y'all are crazy, nah? The man was sitting on the roadside, taking a break, sitting on the roadside. For all intents and purposes, still in uniform. He is on the job. Even if he take a little 5-minute break in the bush. You do not do those things at work. Y'all too friggin' slack. Let me tell you something. My husband works for a local company, Caymanian-owned company. When they have a staff function and they go out, say, after work to a meeting or whatever, and they can be drinking, they are not permitted to drink. And mind you, the owners of the company sitting right there. They are not permitted to drink with their work shirts on. How do I know this? Because one day he's like, oh man, Sandy, he usually keeps a shirt in his car. He didn't have one. Can you please bring me a shirt? We're here at what the name of the place there in South Sound? Grand Old House. Having a little staff get together, whatever, but we can't drink. If I want to have a beer, I can't have it in my work shirt. And he not sitting there getting drunk and belligerent and anything like that. But your work shirt is on. You can't have a drink in your hand. After hours, off the clock. Y'all need to learn something about standards and stop placating these no good people who don't really want to work. You need to be serious about your work. Listen to me. My aunt always said, you go out there and you give somebody an honest day's work for an honest pay. Right? If you're committed to doing the road cleanup, you shouldn't be gallivanting all over the place. You shouldn't be sitting up in car chewing on gum even. You're there to clean up for a certain number of hours. You're getting paid to do it. Do your job. Do it with pride. This country has gone to hell in a handbasket. And trust me, and not no decent thatch handbasket either. Caller, good morning.
Hit the kaboom button for me now.
Oh, honey child.
Honey child, let me enlighten you. I had an MP came up to me, a minister, matter of fact, came up to me and tell me, ease up on the nice workers. They're there just to make us feel the room.
Yeah, that's why they're nice workers. That is why they're nice workers and can't get no regular job. Because y'all been easing up on them too much in life.
Thank you.
What do you mean ease up on them?
Ease up on them
from our people.
You have people come out there and take all 5 minutes to bend one little limb, one little flimsy limb, and they'll put it in the garbage bag. They're going there complain to the minister in return taking their size or ease up on them. I'm sorry. I am sorry.
You see
as a child of God.
You see what YouTuber says? And those commenting on the picture wouldn't hire this young man if they owned the business. We're so hypocritical. You wouldn't believe they wouldn't hire him. I saw some of them heavy equipment business owners. That's why I said, go hire him. He's obviously unemployed or he wouldn't be working for nice. Y'all think there's nothing wrong with him rolling a spliff, getting in your van about to drive off? Go and hire him. Go right ahead.
It's a lot wrong with it. That's why I am speaking out against this legalizing of it, because it is setting our young people who we love dearly up for failure. You understand? Nobody gonna want to hire a weed head. Nobody gonna want people to operate in the great machines being under the influence. Look at all of the accidents and stuff is happening around that. You think it's only alcohol? They're driving while intoxicated. They're driving while
he's sitting out with a beer, and you gonna hear the excuses. Well, how do we know he was actually rolling a spliff? What if it was something else? Y'all like really?
Exactly.
Y'all, come on now. Low standards.
It leads back to no accountability.
Right. And if we can't have accountability for such a simple thing, how we gonna demand accountability for anybody else?
Thank you. You understand? Thank you. They have these people there, and the work they're paying them, and the work is not getting done.
Slackness.
That is a waste of the people's money. And when you speak out about it or against it, you're hated. But let me tell you, I am going to speak the truth. I stand for the truth.
That's why they're not ready for certain people. They tell me, they want you to run for office, but they're not ready for the cold hard truth. Make them sit there.
On a child, they're not ready at all.
Thank you, Carl.
They're not ready at all. Thank you.
Leroy said, where's the judge gavel? Don't worry, Leroy. I got it right here for you, honey child. Court's in session. That one would have done failed. Y'all gotta do better. YouTuber 345 says true standard, low standards, and cry about not getting ahead in life. No discipline or self-control. Shaka Zulu says this goes right back to what I've said a million times. Entitlement is Caymanian's new trait. Y'all better get it together. Good morning. Oh my gosh. I was coming back to you, honey child. The caller must have not got a credit. Flo, can I please get a toll-free number round? Yeah, I'm willing to pay for it. I just don't want my callers to have to be hanging up because they can't even afford to call. Good morning, caller.
Yes, morning, miss.
Morning.
Yeah, how are you?
Not too bad. You got to turn the radio down in the background for me.
No problem.
Okay.
Yes, no. All right, yes. Miss. I'm a young Caymanian.
Yes.
All right. But you see the politics now? I had like that topic earlier,
You avoid that topic?
I had loved that topic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. You know what? I never voted in. None of us young Caymanians ever voted yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the politics They tricking us.
Okay.
They're not doing us right.
All right.
Yeah, so if you are trick a young Caymanian, like what the elder people say.
Right. But tell me how do you feel that they tricked you? Because they told you something and you believed it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. But here's the thing now, this is what I'm telling you. You gotta be smarter than them. Right? Because anybody, you know what them Caymanians say? You got mouth, you can chat, right?
Yes,
so that means that anybody who have mouth can say anything under the sun. That don't mean that it goes so.
Them getting.
Right.
How a lot of
right.
Yeah.
But you have got to have a discerning spirit. You have to know when to listen to something, say, nope, that's baloney. You're not going to give that no credit, and you're not going to vote for nobody based on that. So we have to train ourselves, and I'm glad that as a young person, you're calling in, because it is our responsibility as elders in a community to say to you, don't just vote for that person because all your whole family has voted for them for the past 20 years. That's not the reason why you should vote for them. You need to vote for them based on what they're saying. Oh, sound all garble that, but you have to vote for them based on what they're saying and what they're gonna. I don't. Let me try calling him back because I don't know what's going on there. But it was very garbled. So I mean, this is the point exactly. There's too many elders who pass down to our young people. The criteria is voting. Oh, we've always supported this candidate as the Ebanks family, the McField family, or whatever. That's not enough. Yeah, caller, the connection had gotten really bad.
Sorry about that, man.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying, right? There's something wrong with this call, but you need to learn the real reasons why you should be voting someone in, not just what they're saying.
No, I don't vote for what you're saying, you know. And I don't really listen to what you're saying. I go and watch what you're doing.
Well, then,
if you do some like constructive, productive stuff like that now, then I could say, yeah, at least you're trying to do something.
So how did they fool you then if you were using that?
How they could, because I was young then.
Oh, so you know better now?
Yes, oh boy, yes, mom.
Okay.
So I learned better now. So I know better now not to vote for none of them. I ain't gonna vote. I just gonna need my voter's ID just to say I got an ID on the island. And now they come up now like, I understand this part now. The rights to be Caymanian, right? So how they come up with this now? Because they got all of these foreigners on the island now. I not bought them here. My son not bought them. My daughter not bought them here. But yet no, they could bring all these foreigners in, and then everybody won't come here and say, oh, Caymanians lazy. How will be lazy if you importing people quicker than you could give us a job? Quicker than you say, boy, I go and train him now to say, yo, yeah, see here, go ahead and do this, and I see how you do. We are lazy people, you know. We intelligent people also. We just important somebody because they got a qualification. Paper don't make you experience. So if you're not got an experience, but you got a qualification on paper, how can you do the job? You don't know nothing about that field work. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate it.
No problem. Not my 2 cents.
All right. I appreciate it very much. I don't know why that call was so garbled, but it was only when I was speaking. That's the weird part. So listen here now. Y'all gotta do better. Letting Caymanians think that they can go on somebody's job and sit down and do those types of things in uniform on the job site is not right. I don't care. Somebody say, oh, but you mean they can't smoke? I'm not talking about smoking after hours. Y'all know my position very, very clearly. But this isn't about that. This is about when you're on somebody's time. Even though you're entitled to your breaks, that don't mean that you're entitled to do whatever on your breaks. Who told y'all that? Where did that nonsense come from? Y'all not ready for the real world, I can tell you what. And I'm sad to say that if Caymanians are out there, both I even saw some former MPs jumping in, but yeah, let's not criticize him. I was like, wow, y'all cannot be serious. Really? Listen, what a mess we in. Did I finish all the comments? All right, let's answer the question about the money. Where's the money at? Where's the money at? Let me see here now. So basically your MPs get, let's clarify what this position is, right? So your MPs get, let me see here now. They get $5,000. This is according to the, hold on, let me bring up the other page now. This is the Parliament Management Act 2022 revision. Good morning, caller.
Boy, Sunday morning. I don't know what to say about you guys. Like, I don't know if you guys believe in God or you guys believe in the devil or don't believe in neither. But if it brings a division with marijuana, at least to say that Jesus, you see a man drinking alcohol, he don't smoke cigarettes, he don't smoke weed, and he's a good man. You call him a gentleman, probably. And then you see a man with a little ganja spliff and it look a little intimidating because his eyes a little red. Or maybe he talk a little different. And then he's the devil. He the bad person, right? Because you don't like how it smells. Or I don't know, you guys find some way to discriminate. Doesn't matter now. He could be black or white. So this thing doesn't have to do with racism. But boy, I tell you, you see, if ganja still becomes something that you guys would blindly allow people to believe is witchcraft or some taboo, that you become under some spell. I don't know what the friggin', I don't know what the hell to say about how you guys think. I hear you talk about money just now. You're gonna mention money. Let me call in how ganja can make money legally, responsibly than how it is, more responsible than how it is going on right now. Because we all are scared that children will get their hands on marijuana. If we legalize it, oh yeah, oof, you got people afraid about that. Shoot, this Exodus or some shit. I don't know.
Language.
Sandy. Sorry, that one slipped. But listen, if a ganja shop can be opened up in the island, if several ganja shops can be opened up in the island, responsibly providing a product, and you have lounges on this island where people can freely do their recreational stuff. I'll say recreational intentionally because we got a lot of American people that have marijuana legalized for recreational purposes. And I'm worried about the British over there. They don't come down here to save us for nothing. They don't like the word, that a problem. We can do it for scientific uses and therapeutic uses and all those type of nice, beautiful things, right? But decriminalization, boy, son, you just want to giving them more power to control the market. But legalization, no, Sandy, it would be beautiful when you can see the people that can work together with great business minds, responsibly telling people, hey, look here, there's a certain age for adult recreational use. Responsibly, because marijuana, they don't have no proof that marijuana causes people to have disabilities. There's no proof. They might make people more quiet. It might make people talk more. It might make people think more responsibly, because alcohol make you think a lot too, but irresponsible. Yeah, they don't care about the consequences and the actions when they're under the influence of alcohol. You get more of that response when you're under the influence of marijuana. Let me tell you from what I know. Because you can't tell me what I don't know, because I do it. All right? Everybody in this blessed island knows that. At least the ones that listen to you.
Okay.
Yeah, you should take that in consideration, Sandy. We are not idiots. We have great business minds. We might not think just like you, but that's the special part. Because we think in the other way from where you're at. Your standpoint is it's a demonic thing. Our standpoint is that it actually brings in a lot of people, love as well. You care for each other. It's nothing about what the politicians say and what this movement told us. We don't need none of those things to influence us to be together when it comes into ganja, All right.
Thank you very much. We do have another caller.
A lot of your show. All right.
All righty. Caller, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sunday. I was listening to that guy, and he does not make any sense at all. Because somebody brought up the subject of this guy rolling a spliff and drinking a beer when they're supposed to be given the time that they're being paid for. People don't realize, this is Dexter, by the way, whoever wants to, I have no qualms about giving my name. Because the problem is you are stealing, you're a thief when you are not doing the job you put there to do. After you finish your job, smoke all till your eyes turn red is the sun. It is wrong. You're not giving the government the money, the time, the value for money. And then they talk about you can't get the job. That's the reason why they don't get a job. I think it was last year. I was passing where I usually do my dog walk, and there was the supervisor. She was talking. I went up past them. She was talking to them and laughing. And when I came back past them with my dog walking again, because he even said, "Well, oh, the beautiful dog," and I said, "Yeah," and that's why nobody breaks into my house. Anyway, there was about 4 of them that were doing nothing. They were sitting down. I saw them on my way past, and on my way back, they were still sitting down doing nothing. How would that be impressive to somebody that can afford to give them a job? No, it's wrong. And then when I told him, I said, "What you're doing right now is you're stealing from the government." "Oh, you calling us a thief?" I say, "Yes, I'm calling you a thief because you're getting paid for doing nothing." Sandy, it's the mentality of these people.
And when we say these people, we should be very clear that we're talking about Caymanians. Our people need to adjust their mentality. This is one of the reasons why expats can roll up on you and have this conversation about Caymanians are lazy, they're entitled, they're this and they're that, because they can point to examples like this. You know the audacity that it must take for you to be on a nice program and sit down on the side of a public road and do what this man did? You know the nerve that takes?
You think that anybody would want in the future is going to
nobody
employ
hire him?
No.
And I can't blame him.
And then to talk about wants to feel sorry, people that feel sorry for him. I don't. When they come down to sorry and logics, I work in logics.
And you feel sorry for people who deserve for you to feel sorry for them? This not it? This not cutting it? This kind of work ethic just isn't it?
It is sad.
Thank you, Mr. Dexter.
And I'm not quite finished. I still got 15 minutes more to go.
No, but we do have another caller who's trying to get through.
I know, but the thing about it is, do not let anybody influence you to run for politics, because you are more valuable to the people of this island than what the politicians are, because the quality that the quality of these representatives are not giving the people what they want. You are doing that. And the thing about it is, for all the men that is out there running around with it, I done that. I've been there, and now I'm reaping the benefits of planting the seeds that I planted. And when I said that, I regret every.
I do have some other callers, so can I ask you to leave us there?
Okay.
All right, darling. I appreciate it. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program. Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Sandy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Good.
I'm just calling in on the topic.
Yes.
I have been one of the supervisors for many, many different times on the NICE program.
Yes.
But I have refused to do it the last 2 times and the current time, which is now going on.
Mm-hmm.
For the same simple reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of our Caymanian men and women.
Mm-hmm.
They are lazy.
Mm-hmm.
They come, they're getting paid. Listen now, they're getting paid $10 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, you giving lunch because the lunch menu is read to you and you can decide what you want. So in other words, they don't just give you what you what they feel to. You have choices, right? Every day. Now, and in addition to that, you're giving a soda and you have unlimited water.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these people, they come with this mentality that they can come and sit down on the job. They can yap all day in little groups. And when you go and talk to them, they won't have attitudes. So a lot of them, I would write them up or I would make a complaint back then to the directors, right? And they didn't like me for that. Actually, me and some of them have gotten to a lot of verbal confrontation. I say, well, listen, if you don't come to work, then don't come. And some of them come with this cock and the bull story, like they'll come and they say, oh, I got a doctor's appointment this morning. Well, then why did you come this morning?
To sign up, yeah.
But they just come to sign up like they're there. I said, well, listen, if you leave, I'm going to log the time that you leave and the time that you come back. So you're not going to get paid for the time that you left. Because a lot of them are expecting to just come and sign up. They're gone and you never see them again for the rest of the day. And then they come back tomorrow morning. This is stealing from the government.
Yes.
And this is one of the reasons why I refuse to do it for the last 2 different times. And definitely, I've seen a lot of the same thing. Marijuana smoking when they should be working. You can do that after your job, but not while you're on the job.
Exactly.
I complain about this. I give names. But you know what? When the program comes back around again, these same people, they go and apply, and then they're given a job. So the people at Public Works, they're not doing anything about it. So I say, you know what? That's like falling on deaf ears. So I'm not even going to bother to get myself involved anymore because I am very vociferous, right? And I tell it like it is. So you're going to come to work on my team, I'm going to be working as well, you know.
Yeah.
But then you're going to be working with me. So I don't expect to be working as a supervisor and you sitting down on the job. No, they're not going to work with me. So that's why they don't like people like me. But, you know, like the whole saying said, I don't give a rat's ass.
That's right. Thank you, caller. 936-2626. Yeah. I can tell you the conversation we want to have with the courts not happening today. We'll get to that tomorrow, but that's okay. Let's read some of your comments. Yes, kaboom. All right, let's see here. Read some of your comments. Obviously, the comments are coming in hot and heavy. Give me 1 second here, honey child. Yes, good morning.
Yeah, me again, Sandy. I'm not arguing about the situation, right? But really and truly, I hope I know about to get it all twisted that I am defending this action, though. I really and truly, I can agree with what you're saying, Sandy, about this doing marijuana and also drinking alcohol on the job, because that's literally something that is like a disrespect to your employer, right? But geez, I mean, like if we can just have a little time to ourselves sometimes and get it without any like discrimination for our free time. Like out of work. Say you have some people that can responsibly drink and they'll wait till they finish work and then they go boom, right straight to the bar and even change their clothes sometimes. I surprised about that myself. Like I know I'm not that hungry for weed, but I mean, Sandy, there's some sort of discipline needed into it as well, and that where education would be handy because they educate us about alcohol and other drugs, but the marijuana really they never really. I when I was growing up, going to school, I didn't really hear much about the marijuana. When we was in school at the DARE program, primary school, it was alcohol and other drugs like cocaine, for example. That would be something, cigarettes. These are the type of things I've never really heard about marijuana.
We do have another caller.
Just knowing that marijuana is in the community and it's not harmful for you, for some people. And we can acknowledge it a little bit and legalize the things so that we can all have a little free time.
Thank you very much.
Responsibly.
All right,
like
we do have
adults.
we do have another caller.
Yeah.
Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Hey, morning, Sandy.
Morning,
Dominic
dear.
Banks here.
Hi,
Hope
how are
all
you?
is well.
Good,
Hey,
good.
better, good, Sandy. Thank you.
Good.
I'll be brief. I wasn't really called in with this particular topic that you seem to have got stuck on. I know the main one today was talking about the sex registry and all these other
Well,
things.
we
with
haven't
these
even gotten to
offenders.
that one yet, but we'll get there tomorrow.
For sure. But for now, since we're on this particular topic,
Yes.
bringing up the thing with a young man obviously being taken in the picture and obviously, whatever the assumption is, because we didn't want to analyze what he had in hand anyway, right? So just give this out. But, a lot of this sparked from when we saw this poster about this referendum to, not just saying the spark from, but the confidence, a lot of people, when we saw this referendum thing being posted about, decriminalizing marijuana, it gave a lot of people, I guess, this assumption that we were heading in that direction. And of course, you can see the police have eased up on arrests and, a lot of stuff. You can see the laid back situation from the enforcement standpoint, but just wanted to say, yes, a lady had called in early on. I wanted to switch away from the marijuana topic a little bit. I want to talk about the constituencies themselves, because obviously a lot of these members with this one man vote thing was really elected in that way to represent these particular areas much more. And we can go into some of these constituencies. We don't see offices where you can go there and feel comfortable, because a lot of these offices have now been obviously relocated to individual homes and stuff, which make it even more questionable now. Why is it attached to your personal life that close? But obviously the excuse or support for that is that, hey, a lot of the representatives know where my yard is, and obviously they come there more often rather than my office. But it is what it is.
It's a horrible idea, actually. I don't know who has their MP office in their home, but you should never do that. There has to be a separation.
Right. Especially when you're being paid to have these administrations that actually offers other jobs and stuff like that, because you should have a staff there. And I don't know how a staff feels going to somebody's house and being there all day long.
Exactly.
Et cetera.
And that staff member shouldn't be family either, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. What I really wanted to call for, Sandra, today wasn't even under these particular topics. I wanted to talk about our service industry, for example, which is something that was very big in Cayman many years ago. And when I say service industry, I'm really talking about like restaurants and bars and stuff, because I know a lady had called as well, talking about the noise in her area and stuff and how people being very irresponsible with it, etc. But the service industry has definitely changed. It opens up later in the night now. That is all caused because the liquor stores close later in the night. So, you have this crowd that goes out late. How it was done years ago, it was very restricted and controlled, where it was liquor stores closed at 6. By that time, if you hadn't got your, beverages from the wholesale part of it, you had to then go to the service industry. You showed up at a bar or a restaurant and they had waiter and waitresses, which offered more jobs, as well as entertainment was offered. Bands, we had a lot more live entertainment back then because of the service industry being like that. We've seen where a lot of musicians right now don't have no place to play because it's limited. Which band you hear starting at 10 o'clock at night in Cayman, they were mostly for happy hours and that sort of entertainment. But now that you have these liquor stores opening so late, it has pretty much wiped out the service industry, and it is something that I guess we all have to take a look at to see about bringing it back, because You know, I can't see how you can just allow that to happen. I find the liquor license board is very responsible.
Yeah, and to be very clear, what's happening is in this particular case that the lady was calling about, it's a residential home that is illegally selling liquor and allegedly gambling and so on going on there. So this isn't a licensed
establishment.
Premise. Yes, this is an unlicensed premise that she's saying that there's no enforcement because DCI and the police are responsible for enforcement for anybody who's carrying on that business and does not have the respective license to do so. Because nobody's going to let you, no one's going to give you a license to have that in your backyard in the middle of Windsor Park.
No, but it's been going on for many years.
Yes,
right?
well, she's saying that the seniors in that area in particular,
other places
sick and tired of it because they can't get no sleep with all the noise and whatever carrying on. And those establishments also attract a certain crowd, certain caliber of individuals. And so what you have happening there is other criminal activity being invited into the neighborhood. Thank you so much, caller.
But thank you so much for that.
Yes, most appreciate it. All right, my dear. Some good discussions going on here today. We got about less than 10 minutes left in the program. So I'll leave my discourse because there's two things that were on the agenda for today that are interconnected. One is about the court and how it's treating sexual offenders. And the other one is about a man who was inappropriately approaching young girls on Saturday over the weekend. The police had to be called on him. We're going to show you his picture. We're going to show him sitting in the cop car. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for that. And I'll address both because they are related about these predators in our community. So let's read some of your comments that have come in. I think we might have to re-implement the ban on this discussion. This person says, Alejandro, weed is an illegal substance. Another person on WhatsApp says, go past the car parks for these construction sites. Smells like a yard session going on. Then what? Operate heavy equipment? No wonder the standards are low. They on drugs. One is under the influence and is impaired at work. The other is not. One is a liability. One is not. One is breaking the law. One is not. He shouldn't be drinking at work either. Good morning. Please put back your ban on no ganja talk on your show, please. He has nothing to talk about. And I think that we will be doing that, in fact. Go past the car park for these construction sites. Smells, we did that one already, sorry. We can't legalize it due to conventions and treaties by the UK. 50 exclamation points. Hell no. Does he not understand this? Hell man, does he not understand this? Move to Colorado if you want legalized weed. Why did we start talking about weed? OMG. Now it's never going to end. Now Alejandro is annoyed. Now he's going to never shut up. Oh my God, here we go. Crying emoji. Listen, here's the deal. The months that we had a ban on the no weed conversation were some of the most peaceful months on the program. We can focus our thoughts and our energy talking about a lot of other things. And so listen, I don't believe in circular discussions. Actually, I'll be getting on my nerves with some of these circular discussions that go nowhere. Yes, you're entitled to your opinion. Everybody knows, as you rightfully said this morning, that you sit down every day and you smoke pot. That's not earth-shattering news. We all know it. But you don't have to tell us every single day, please. So this is what we're going to do. YouTuber says, Alejandro, what is your contribution to society? Auntie Sandy says Sakajulu is doing the right thing to let him vent, despite him not reading the room. In other words, nobody wants to hear that. Lisa says to block him as of today. Here we go again, says Lucky Body. Please end this repetition, says YouTuber. Gabby says Caymanians already have a stigma that we feel that we can as we please, when we please, and this just proves their point. Very much so. Alejandro, buddy, says Shaka Zulu, we're not talking about legalized weed. We're talking about smoking weed on the job. Oh, Alejandro, I'm not going to take your call again today because even Auntie Sandy's patience can run out. So this is what we're going to do. As of today's show, no more weed talk again. We're just cutting it. Okay? if we have a discussion, like if they ever decide to have this supposed referendum about decriminalizing it, it's never going to be legalized, as that person said, because the UK will not allow it. So that's not an option. So get that out of your little pea brains, folks. Just move on. It ain't happening, okay? As of today, no more discussion on it. You guys understand the rules very, very clearly. If you break this rule and you mention it, you talk about it on the show, you will get blocked. Simple as that. You know how y'all grew up, hopefully in a household where your mama set down rules, and if you broke the rules, there were consequences? There's consequences to everything in life. Yes. The consequences, we got a lot more important things to talk about than y'all wanting to sit down smoking marijuana all day. Don't talk about it on this program. Go talk about it on the midday show. If you feel like in the middle of my show you want to talk about it, run over to OC Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and talk to him about it. No more on this show. Unless we have said this is going to be a discussion point for today. We're having some experts come in. Other than that, we're not talking about marijuana. Capiche? You break the rule, you get blocked, we move on. YouTuber was begging me to end the call, says it's illegal, OMG. Rough C says that Sandy doesn't understand the pressure, the stress in people's lives. And you would know that how? Oh, Alejandro, 2 calls for the day is plenty. YouTuber says Alejandro feels so strongly about weed, but refuses to take a more public platform. He wants Sandra to champion this. Since he is so informed, he should write to legislators and arrange to plead his case. El Rey says legalize weed for personal use for 1 year as a trial. We can't legalize it. To see what happens, especially the impact on arrests for possession, consumption, and jail time, impact on drug runners, i.e. did it reduce and put them out of business? All you have to do is check other places that have legalized it. You don't need to do that, El Rey, in order to see what the impact will be. Go to California, go to Colorado, and you can see it for yourself. Shaka Zulu says, dude, the guy was on the job smoking weed. Say it again, Mr. Dexter. She's a perfect political hand dog. I know, right? Inspiring says, just hearing Mr. Dexter says he has 50 more minutes makes me laugh. All right. So y'all don't need to assume anything about people's stress level because you do not know anything about their lives. You don't know what kind of stress they're dealing with. But just because somebody's stressed out doesn't mean that I'm going to go and deteriorate my health by smoking anything. Just like I'm not going to go and drink because I'm stressed out. Some days y'all make me want to drink. Like I could see that if I were a drinker, I'd be like, man, I need a shot of something after the morning show, but I don't drink. There's other ways to deal with your health, honey child. Your stress. You're stressed out, go do yoga. Do Pilates, take a run around the block. Not only is exercise good for stress, it also releases these positive endorphins. It's good for all sorts of stuff. Go run around. Why would you take on something that damages your health when you're talking about stressed? If you're stressed out, my recommendation is do something positive about it, not something that's going to make it worse. All right, honey, chillin'. Let's keep it moving. So tomorrow we'll pick up on those topics. And of course, it's Medical Rundown Tuesdays. Nat B says you cannot be in any job and be caught drinking or smoking illegal substances and not expect to be reprimanded or worse, fired. Most employment contracts have clauses just for that. Of course. As they should. As well, they should. Thank you, Gabby. I've just restarted Instagram. It stops every hour on the hour. So it's annoying because we used to be able to go up to 4 hours until last week. Somehow Instagram went and changed something. Yes, Siobhan says I usually go for a walk when I'm stressed out or upset. That's a productive way to deal with stress. And Leroy says she got Henny in that cup. Nope, good old-fashioned water, honey child. So Michael says, hallelujah. No more weed talk. Hallelujah to that. Very good. Radio listeners, we're about to log off from you guys. YouTuber says, thank you, Sandy. No more weed talk. Let Alejandro start his own live. And of course, this is always an option. You can have a show all about weed. You can talk about weed 24/7. Very, very easy to do. on your own time. Poor Johan, talking about boycott CMR and Auntie Sandy. Now, let me address something with Johan that I think is very important. So apparently, you all were talking quite a bit after Friday's show, thinking that I was all upset with Johan because he believes that all men cheat and they're all out there cheating. And if they're given the opportunity, they're going to do it. So we shouldn't care about that. We shouldn't care about our MPs doing it. I'm just briefly summarizing, what it is that he's saying or what he said on Friday. You can go back and listen to the full thing for yourself. Listen, I don't take any of these comments personally at all. The only comment that I took personally was from Jaron talking about he wanted to F my 7-year-old daughter. Trust me, if I see you anytime in the near future, my foot is going to end up your nuts. That's how that going to work. You're a disgusting and vile person. A lot of you reached out, even this morning, sharing the sentiments with me about how disgusted you were with that comment. Shows you the type and caliber of person he is. Anything else that people say on the issue of topics, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I don't care about those things. Johan is entitled to his opinion. It does not really impact me one way or the other. I know a lot of you were saying that you lost respect for Johan and you wouldn't vote for him based on what he was saying. That's a matter for Johan. I'm not his constituency manager or his campaign manager or anything like that. If you have those opinions and you want to share it with Johan, you're certainly welcome to do so. If you want to share it with just me, then obviously you're welcome to that as well. Yes, Rough Seas, I would be willing to assault somebody for insulting the modesty of a 7-year-old. Let me say it again. In case you don't understand what I'm saying. Yes, touching somebody's assault. I would be willing to assault him and gladly go sit in jail for him insulting the modesty of a 7-year-old child who happens to be my daughter. Let me click off the radio here so I can be very frank with y'all. Radio listeners, have a blessed day. Let me say it again, Rough Seas. I will take my foot and kick that motherfucker in the nuts. What he said is vile and disgusting. He's lucky that all I want to do is assault him. We're going to talk about some of these child predators tomorrow. Because some of y'all need to take the approach that you roll up on my daughter or my son in an inappropriate sexual way and you gonna get something. Maybe if they had more fear, they would stop doing some of the shit that they're out here doing to these poor children. So, yes, did I just say that I would assault him if I run into him from what he said? Yes. And I'll say it again. Call the police. Call the popo this morning. Did you, by any chance, Rough Seas, say how disgusted you were with his comment, or are you okay with that? What man is going to talk about, oh, your little child is soon going to get fucked? Really? Listen to me. You don't have any idea how much restraint I've had to use in this situation. But the most important thing, YouTubers asking if his baby mama is still with him. Of course. With 2 girls in the household, of course she is. Let me be very clear. Y'all need to stop the foolishness. Honestly. If he does, I must wait until he touches my daughter and then I can do something. What the fuck am I reading here today? Say what? It should be a criminal offense. And I will check with the police to see if what he said about a 7-year-old is indeed a criminal offense. Because you try to give the law every opportunity to work, but God knows it really doesn't. In a lot of instances. He's a sick individual. Let me tell you what somebody sent me this morning. Let me see if I can find this message. This person said they live overseas. They were listening to the program, I guess, early in the hours of the night. They said, I know you're asleep, but I was so glad I had just exited I-95 when I heard you mention Jaron and what he said about your baby. I had to friggin' pull over and stop with my jaw dropping to my foot. Now, anyone who's had any doubt that he is lower than the shit at the bottom of the cesspool should know it now. I am beyond appalled and shocked at him. What a no-good bastard he is. I still can't believe what I read. Shame on him, his mother, and his father, although I don't know who the father is. And if Sherry Ann doesn't sit him down and slap his face off for that, she's no better than him. I can't much stand her anyway. I'm still sitting here with my mouth open. Didn't realize I'd missed that show. Still didn't finish watching it. I had to stop. Seriously. Then they went on to tell me to carry 2 bars of soap and a sock. An electric wire would be nice too. Wow. They said, wow, fucking wow. Certain things, folks, you should not tolerate. You should not tolerate, and that includes people speaking about children in a particular way. The fact that you would even think something like that about a child shows what a sick motherfucker you are. There's no other word for you. You are a very sick individual. Whether it's my child or anybody else's child. I don't really play with people like Jaren, you know. We already have very firm evidence that he is talking to underage girls. And if there was any doubt in any of your minds that he would do it, that should erase the doubt right there. Very, very sick individual. But don't worry, he's going to keep it up. And one of these days, he's going to go after the wrong person's child. And I can tell you that they are going to deal with him. Make him keep it up. He will never get an opportunity to even be in the same room with my child. Let me be very, very clear. If I even see him in the grocery store, I'm going to grab her and walk in the opposite direction. Because people like him is too nasty. Foul is not even the word, Miss Pat. Trust and believe me. Jaren Carter, my dear. John says, who's Jaren? We featured him before talking to underage girls, talking about what he wants to do to them and give them back rubs and must come and see him and all kind of foolishness. My God. Yanira says, oh my God, this is sickening, right? Duppy know who to frighten, definitely. I can tell you that Duppy know who to frighten, and it's not gonna be me because, honey, nah. We're not gonna do that, honey child. I will clip you real quick before you ever think of ever saying something like that or even having any contact with my child. You're a very disgusting person. Very, very sick. And you see, there are things somebody was telling me the other day. They have a young child. She's only 5 years old. And in some school setting, teachers and teachers' aides and people like this looking at the little girl talking about her pum pum so fat. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Why are you sexualizing a 5-year-old child? Why is that coming out of your mouth? Why are you saying these things about children? How can you look at a 5-year-old child and talk anything about their pum pum? Caribbean people, y'all need to get it together. Exactly, Mary Jean. Y'all need to get it together. Stop saying stuff like this about children. This is why you're force raping these children and you're making them easy prey for these predators because you are sexualizing the poor little girls and boys. Who looks at a 5 and 6-year-old, even a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old, talking about them pum pum fat? Y'all need to stop it. These things are not funny. If an adult ever said something like that in my presence, trust me, I going off on y'all. That is beyond inappropriate. To think it is sickening. To say it to another adult And then there are adults sitting there who normalize this type of conversation and have nothing to say when they hear this. Y'all need to stop speaking up for these children. Anybody in your presence who sexualizes a child, you need to say, at the very minimum, excuse me, that comment is not appropriate. Start taking out for children. And if they go sideways like Jaron, you need to say more than that to him. Why does this man think that he can talk about a little child getting fucked? This is next level disturbance and sickening, I can tell you that. Really and truly. Absolutely disgusting. Anyway, folks, tomorrow we'll have our good people from Health City on, and then I do want to talk about more stuff as it relates to children, because even the court, in my humble opinion, my respectful opinion, is making some really grave moves as it relates to protecting predators, and I do not know why. We're going to talk about a recent case where a man raped a child, and the court has put a gag order in place where he cannot be identified. And my question is why? Why can't he be identified? What is stopping him from being identified? We're going to talk about the details of that, because I think this is harmful. And you are, quite frankly, potentially putting other children in harm's way once this person is out, because nobody knows who he is. Oh, we're going to put a protective order in place, blah, blah, blah. So tune in tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about that. Because yes, the dialogue has got to continue, and it has got to it has to include addressing matters like this. And I think the court needs to have a directive. This is why we need our elected officials to start saying, you know what, put that sex offender registry in place, and these are the parameters. All right, folks, I've got to go. Y'all have a beautiful and blessed day. See you tomorrow morning.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.